What up, man? What up?
What is up, Station?
Dude, Station, man. I love that freaking poster, bro. That's a cool classic one. When I first saw that Boyd poster, it gave me I thought it was like an 80s movie straight up, you know?
I mean, it kind of is in a way.
Definitely.
So that's pretty cool that's something that's really cool about this movie, The Void.
Yeah.
It's got that 80s aesthetic. Could have leaned a little bit heavier into it in certain aspects, but regardless, it definitely leans into trying to replicate that vibe, you know, in Rock and Robbie. Made in the 80s, baby.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's a great movie, man. It's not perfect, no doubt, but I thought it was a lot of fun for a movie that came out a couple of years ago, you know. But we got us a special guest tonight, and I'm happy to introduce my man Verno, bro, from the Cerebros.
What up, yo? Happy to be back. This is gonna be a good one. I know
Illuminati shit, man.
Dude, I love the shirt, man, too.
Walmart special, baby.
I know. Dude, I heard
my shirt?
Hells yeah. It wasn't until I watched that's fucking sick. It wasn't until I watched some of the replay of that Best Comics of the Month stream. I'm like, oh, Robbie's wearing the Stuff shirt. I didn't even pick up on that. That was a dope shirt.
I love that shirt, man.
Yeah. He's been rocking some dope shirts lately, man. He's stepping his game up.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm trying to be fly like you, Dylan.
Man, you're flyer, bro, with those shirts.
I don't know, man. I ain't got no chains. I need 2 chains.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You'll get there, though, youngling.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
But dude, I almost forgot, and I'll never talk about it. But what was it? Dude, that episode of Boba Fett with Mandalorian taking over his show was incredible.
Didn't hear about that. I quit watching it, dude. I plan on keep catching back up, but after 3 episodes and this multicolored American biker gang, I was like, I'm fucking out, dude. I was over.
I haven't watched a single episode, but Jelani told me that was the best episode, and it didn't have Boba Fett in it.
I'd say that was the best episode. I'd say that one and the second episode.
It's kind of like how the best issue of Crossover wasn't written by Donny Cates.
Right.
Yeah. But dude, Bryce Dallas Howard directed that episode too. It was fan-freaking-tastic.
Nice. Well, I mean, Robert Rodriguez had directed all of the prior ones too. And I'll just say, dude, Robert Rodriguez directed the one episode where we got Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, and he was so badass, shooting rockets and just like moving with an intensity. And at the time, I'm like, dude, we need him for all of it. And then they announced him, and he's done nothing but disappoint so far.
He only did the first episode, though. He's just a producer. I thought so too. Hold on, I'll have to look, but I know because I liked the first episode a lot. Let me double check. I know he's an executive producer on all of it.
Well, let's be honest about Robert Rodriguez,
right?
And who I love his work, but
He's hit or miss.
He's not one of those guys where I'm like, I love all of his
right
work,
for sure.
You know,
so. It says he did episode 1, 3, and 7.
3 is the one that had, dude. It's got like everybody's been talking about it. It's got like
the
slowest car chase ever.
Yeah.
There's a fight with a Wookiee that should have been badass, and it's just like one of those things where there's Boba Fett and the Wookiee fighting with all these other people standing around waiting to take turns to go in. It's like, you know what I mean? Like just really stupid fight scene, you know, coming from a guy that's known for fantastic fight scenes.
Yeah.
He's all corporate now, working for fucking Disney.
Peacemaker was really good though too, which is giving me some Slither vibes with the butterflies, but I've been loving Peacemaker.
I'm an episode or 2 behind, but I love the first 3.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of that, man. It's all been Akira and James Bond in my life for the last few days.
Yeah, I believe it. Netflix, though, they released a little poster for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, February 18th.
And they got John Larroquette coming back to do the narrator voice. And I was like, that's right. He was the narrator.
It's kind of hard, like, to see it, to be honest.
There was a narrator for he's talking about the original Chainsaw Massacre?
It's the opening scene.
Okay.
When he's like in 1974 in Texas, blah, 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 whatever. So that poster is... Are they trying to make me think it's an A24 film and not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film? What's going on? That's a rather artsy poster for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's just say.
When I first looked at it, I couldn't really tell. I had to glance at it at first, and then I was like, oh, okay, there he is. Because it kind of looks like a Children of the Corn type thing. I don't know. Like, do you see it? Like, at first, you don't really see his face. Like, because even, like, right here, this top part almost looks like a skull or something. Like, he's kind of, like, in the... This is him right here, like, his face. I don't know if there's...
I see it.
You see it now?
You got the sun behind him. I saw it in the poster. It's just... I don't know, man. I'm not excited for this movie.
I'm not sure about that mask, bro. It gives me like
we're gonna have to cover it that week, aren't we?
Oh, we will. Well, but I don't know if we're gonna like do a full review. We'll just kind of...
I think we should.
It depends how good it is. Or how bad, man. Because
sometimes it's just as much fun to talk about the bad ones as it is the good ones, though.
Sometimes I just don't like. I just sometimes don't like to put that negativity out there, but it's fun to kind of rip on stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
We probably will end up talking about it because it is, and I am such a huge Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, so we probably will, honestly, and that will be the week you come back. So, we'll probably do that. It's just sometimes it's easier because a lot of Netflix, you know, that's one thing me and Robbie will try and do stuff that's like, you know, that you're able to find for free on streaming. Sometimes we can't always do it, but we try and look like that's something we think about just to make it easier for you guys to be able to watch it and not have to worry about buying it. Cause you know,
I had to watch The Void with commercials.
I watched it on Crackle. This is my first Crackle experience. And it's they have more commercials than like say Tubi, I think. But at least it was free. At least it was free. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's great that between Tubi and Crackle, you could find a lot of other stuff that you would have had to rent before without those two apps.
Isn't it super weird though when you're like watching a movie like this and you get to a gnarly, like grotesque scene, and then all of a sudden it's a fucking Clorox commercial or some shit like.
Or it's Jake from State Farm like 500 times throughout the thing. If it wasn't him, it's Shaq.
Commercial. Yeah, that's the worst thing, dude. Yeah. Like, oh my goodness. Right. All the streaming services do that though. Mm-hmm. So, but it was free.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot. I know I'd sent you that freaking Curse trailer. And
I saw that before Scream. It looks okay.
Do you remember we were talking about that? And I walked away and my girl was like, this trailer looked really good. Yeah, it doesn't look that crazy. It does look interesting though.
It's just one of those trailers, and I hate this. And you see this a lot, especially with like what are supposed to be like, this is the scariest movie since The Exorcist. Yeah. With these kind of things, right? Where like they don't show you anything enticing about the movie. They just have a bunch of quotes of people telling you that this is a very important and awesome film. I'm like, but you didn't show me that it was. It just kind of looked like I don't know. It was just all over the place. So I don't like as a trailer. It was poorly done. I don't like trailers that have just quotes of people telling me. And if you look, they're all from like weird ass websites that nobody goes to. So I mean, who do you trust? Come on, tell me. Who do you trust?
I saw Manny put up from Tomorrow Cinema, or Manny's Different Perspectives. He put up something earlier, was talking about Nick comic culture, and there was a little quote below it. It says, "The best review show on the internet," or something like that. Yeah. And I had to look. I'm like, who is this from? And it was from you after you watch his show. And I was like, I see what you did there.
That's the clever approach that we love about Manny.
It was great.
Yeah, I love Manny, man. Shout out Manny. It was only a teaser, but Del Toro's got a Pinocchio stop motion movie coming out. It's coming to Netflix next holiday season. It's the tiniest teaser, but I love stop motion, man. Like Wallace and Gromit, you know, all that. Just all that stop motion I always loved. So that I think that Del Toro, I love his work, man. I even watched, what was that? He did this like animation show on Netflix. I can't remember the name. It was like, it was more of a kid show, but it was about this kid. Like he was kind of like fighting monsters and stuff. And then like some of the monsters become his friend. I have to look it up, but I'm just a big Del Toro fan. So I'm excited for that Pinocchio. I don't know if you saw that little teaser for it though.
I didn't see the teaser, but I'm excited. I do like Del Toro.
Dude, I didn't watch all of it, but I started. Shudder just released. Shudder, it's a Shudder exclusive, but Shout Factory is the one who I think put the money into it. They did a Boris Karloff documentary, like the man. What did I say it was called? The Man Behind the Monster or whatever.
Yeah, the man, something like that. And I'm really excited to check that out. It's on Shudder.
You're gonna love it. Yeah,
dude, I've been paying for Shudder for months. I haven't watched shit since.
Nothing.
What did I bought it for Haunt, I think, right?
Yeah. And then you were gonna watch Amusement Park and stuff. I
haven't watched shit since, man. I forget that I have it.
Yeah, dude, I forget sometimes too, because I try and go like check it out once a week just to see if anything new comes, because like they have a lot of like foreign stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, like I should be watching more, but it's so cheap that like they have a lot of good stuff, like Holliston is on there always, and there's a lot of stuff that comes in clutch, but I should watch more of the newer stuff. But.
See, the problem is it's so cheap that every once in a while I'll just go, why am I missing $6 in my bank account? Yeah. Oh, I still have Shudder? I should use that. I should watch some shit on Shudder.
Yeah, man, you should. But there's another new Netflix. I haven't watched the trailer, but it's like a Japanese horror film called All of Us Are Dead. I think it's Japanese.
That sounds bright and fun.
Well, man, they're just like, you know, ever since freaking what was it, Train to Busan, man. So like I just feel like it's gonna get played out really quick. And if anything, it already is. That was Korean. That might be Korean too. I might be tripping.
Okay, because that is the new way that everybody's like, oh, it's Korean horror, right? Yeah. And I can't really shit on that because I was that dude. I was that dude in the late 90s, early 2000s being like, yeah, sure, you like horror. Yeah, okay. Have you ever watched Japanese horror? And I'm still that guy's like, but have you seen Italian horror?
Now it's like, have you seen Korean horror?
Right. Speaking of Italian horror, the people that make In Search of Darkness and In Search of Tomorrow and all that stuff, they got their fantasy one. They are contemplating right now doing one of those 4-hour documentaries just on Italian horror. And I really hope that happens. Like,
that's cool.
That's got to happen.
There's a good like YouTube documentary on Italian horror that's just goes through like the history of it that I really enjoyed.
I have to check that out, man.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple comics that were announced that are kind of horror related and things there. Yeah, like so there's a book in April from Image called Bloodstained Teeth by Christian Ward and Patrick Reynolds. But Christian Ward's a pretty solid writer. He's a really great artist, but he's not going to be doing the art here. But it's about a secret society of vampires that have been ruling everything. And it seems like they're going to tie in more about how they're not just leeching away blood, but leeching away like our money. That's why there's such a disparity, is like they're the ones sucking away all the wealth in the world or something like that. So that could be interesting. Dead Day, which was a really cool Aftershock book by Ryan Parrott, which was about like every so often when the right celestial alignments happen, the dead walk the earth again, right? So your old loved ones, everybody comes up and they're still corpses, but they just resurrect for one day. And Dead Day is celebrated by some, and it's very much a fearful event for others. And it's a wild, really fun miniseries. If you've never read it, you need to check it out. Get the trade. The first issue is going to be a little bit more difficult to find now because they picked it up for a Peacock series, TV series. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And of course, they okayed the Mortal Kombat sequel. So that's pretty cool.
I saw you said that earlier. I liked Mortal Kombat too, probably like about as much as you liked it. You know what I mean? It didn't floor me, but I think I'd already heard the negative feedback before I watched it, and the whole time I'm like, this is entertaining as hell. Like I loved it actually. It was really solid.
It was solid, man, and I think it was the start of something pretty damn awesome. You know, I think they could do so much more with it. You know, like. And I'm excited for it, no doubt. Because
I definitely,
dude, the gore and everything that was on point. You know what I mean? That's all we wanted was an R-rated, you know, Mortal Kombat where they're really just going for it. And I think they really understood the guys who were making it. So
I thought the story was fine. I get the idea of the Cole guy, like I get it. You know, like that seemed dumb. You know, that they're going to create a new person for us to be. It's like when you first watch that Hellboy movie and they create that Agent Myers dude and you're like, fuck's this guy? Get him out of here. You know, and they didn't use him again, right? So it's a weird bit. I would have just loved it if they were like, oh, his stage name is Johnny Cage.
Right. Like, that's what I thought. I think a lot of us thought they were going
Cage.
that route. Yeah. They should have used Green Blood. You know what I mean? Just to, you guys remember that when it first came out on like whatever it was, PlayStation or whatever, it had green
Nintendo
blood.
Was the one where they wouldn't do the blood, right?
Yeah.
And Genesis, you could have a code to unlock the blood.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Codes were the shit back in the day. ABACABB, baby.
Yeah.
You know it. How about real quick this week in horror comics, Dylan?
Yeah, let me hear it.
All right, we got DC versus Vampires, number 4.
That's tomorrow, right, man? He's different perspectives.
Yeah.
I know. I thought maybe he made another channel.
Nah, he said that one day he just did a bit, and now he has to commit to it. So he's committed to the bit. Yeah. So we got DC versus Vampires number 4. I've dissuaded people from buying this book over the last couple issues. I liked this one. Thought it was good. Finally getting some direction. That's cool. Army of Darkness, 1979, issue 5, final issue. Ash and the Warriors. That's what it is. It's not really like super good, but it's fun for what it is.
That's
Vampirella.
Barnes too.
I'm sorry, what's that?
That's Rodney Barnes too, isn't it?
Yeah, that was Rodney Barnes. That concludes that. Then we got Vampirella, Dracula, Unholy, number 2. Great covers. Pretty solid book. It's interesting. So I like that. Then we got House of Slaughter, number 4. Starting to lose me.
Is it
technically a horror book? Yeah, it's just
I'm behind on it.
I haven't been reading it either.
There's just I mean, I kind of get what they're doing, but it's just I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Gunslinger Spawn, issue number 4.
It's a gnarly
Return
cover.
of the Violator. Yeah. This
Dude,
book.
I'm bummed, man, that I lost all my Spawn books, bro. Like, because I can't get like all the Spawn stuff just started, you know, going big, and I like lost everything at my comic shop. That's one I kind of wish, because I went heavy with Spawn. I'd get all the covers and everything, dude.
I have plenty of issues of all these, except for King Spawn at my shop.
King Spawn. I think I have.
King Spawn's been performing very well because it's a really good book.
Is it? I know I got issue 1 of King Spawn. I don't think I got anything else.
Then we got Ice Cream Man 28. Weird cover.
It's a terrible cover. I got a variant.
I don't think it's a terrible cover. Knowing what Ice Cream Man is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because remember they did like the Ghost cover. It was similar to that.
Yeah, but it almost looks like the cover got ripped off. It's like
right.
But it was a pretty fun issue. It wasn't my favorite issue of Ice Cream Man, but I bet when I reread it one day, I'll be like, because every time I reread that stuff, it gets crazier. Homesick Pilots, issue number 11, returning. That's a good one. And finally, Stray Dogs, Dog Days, issue number 2 with the Trick or Treat cover.
That's the one I got. Look at it. This is the variant for Ice Cream Man.
Yeah. Is that Matt Smith?
You know what? I don't know who it is.
No, just saying it looks almost like Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor or whatever.
Oh,
Or is he the 12th Doctor? I don't fucking know. It's 11th. Yeah, he's the 11th. Anyway, I digress.
Pew pew. Two gun.
Were you able to pull me one of those trick or treat covers?
Bro, you know I did, man.
I thought you would. I love you, man. The what else was I gonna say? This ain't. I don't think it's not horror, but somebody told me that Sebastian Stan is doing Pam and Tommy TV show on Hulu.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that? Dude, this girl, I'll watch her stuff because she does a lot of Marvel breakdowns, and she recently did a breakdown for Scream. She can be kind of annoying, but she has some good insider stuff. Grace Randolph.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say her. I knew it.
There's only one. Once you put the no one in there,
that's a great way to describe her though, because she's good and she's an insider. She'll know things that some other people don't know. But she can be a little over the top. But I like her. I do like her. She
has her own voice and she has her own thoughts, at least, but she speaks it, So I don't watch her for everything, but she has some good inside knowledge. So sometimes I like listening to it. But she was talking about that and saying it was incredible. So, and she's really like picky, I feel like too. Like she calls the shit out. Like if it's garbage. So like when she thought Scream was really good, I was like, oh dude, she's not even a horror fan. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. So but
the varying opinions on Scream are interesting. I see more and more negative, and then just so many that love the shit out of it. So it's an interesting one that way.
I even saw some people that like hated it. They're like, I hated it, but then I started reading comments about like the fandom and like what it does to fans and how, and they saw like people writing bad comments, and they're like, it changed my mind. Now I actually kind of like it for what it did, because they kind of were speaking on some, some real shit.
Right.
I was expecting Scream to do a little better on the review. Maybe we did it like a week after. Maybe that's why some people, they get so burnt out, because like me, day one I watched like every Scream review there was. So, but dude, I cannot believe that Better Watch Out is like 1.2K.
Right. That's awesome.
Crazy. Hell yeah, that was a fun one, bro.
Every once in a while, one of them will pop.
Yeah. You gotta find
some of them might even pop, boom. You never know.
Yeah. You never know. Pop, boom. My Spawn review's over 10K right now. The Spawn review we did at PCP. Really? That's our number one PCP movie night.
Crazy.
And it's at over 10K.
That's
Spawn.
Awesome.
Spawn the movie.
That's sick, dude.
And that was the night that I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm tired of this pretentious shit. I'm just going to become a Spawn fan. And I did. And look,
paid off already.
Dude, my life has been better since that day. I guarantee you.
I love it.
Yes, I know you did not. You were not a Spawn fan. My boy Kevin Lang, bro, I always got to throw this out there, man. 1-2 Comic Talker, Entropy in Comics. He works in Hollywood, and he actually because they would have they have stunt people wear the suits, you know what I'm saying? And he wore the suit for Spawn for a couple scenes, like the hell scenes where he's just kind of like standing there, and they'd have like hundreds of them. He wore the suit, man. So that one I always gotta throw out there.
That's awesome.
It's cool to know somebody that wore the Spawn. I love that movie growing up too. I love that movie so much. Still waiting on fucking the movie to come, with
Todd's not compromising, man.
Who is it?
Todd's not compromising.
Really?
That's what's going on with it right now. Like the studio and the money will be like, go this way, and Todd goes, nah. I want to do it this way. Todd wants to direct it.
That's too much.
That's scary. Yeah,
that's really scary.
He knows, and that's like Stephen King when he's like, "Y'all are fucking up my shit. I'm gonna direct Maximum Overdrive."
Even if he doesn't direct it, though, he wants full creative control.
Let him be a producer. You know what I mean?
They will, but they don't. He wants full creative control.
I don't even.
Studios don't give most people that, man.
Right.
I don't even know if
has he ever directed a movie?
No.
Nothing, right? Yeah.
He never wrote a script for a movie.
Right.
That's why I'm sure he wants to write the script too. I wouldn't mind if he wrote this is what I want, and then someone else turn it into a script.
That's what he needs to do.
But because as much as I love Todd McFarlane, his writing is not. I mean, he was an artist. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a writer. You know what I mean?
He's a great plotter. He's a great plotter. He's fine with that to a point.
Yes.
for what he's doing.
Sometimes he can be a little wordy, you know what I mean? But
why is he doing that? Like, okay, so early on, right? He hires Alan Moore, Frank Miller, Neil Gaiman, Dave Sims to do 4 issues of Spawn, right? These big issues, right? He was doing that to kind of learn. I think he learned the wrong lesson from Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman. Okay, more words.
More words. I was going to say, I just read his Spider-Man run, and it's the furthest thing from wordy. It's you go through the issues almost too quick.
Those early issues of Spawn are like that. Like those first 5 or so, are really quick issues.
Nice. I mean, I've literally read nothing but the first issue of Spawn. I don't even know if I've seen the movie. I probably have, but I need to get on that. I need to
do a Spawn movie night revisited. Man.
I wish I could sometimes they're like these news coverage scenes in the comics. You know what I'm talking about, Robbie? Yeah. And they're like paragraphs, and that's where he starts to lose me, where I'm like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I guess it's towards the plot, but just sometimes, man, his books are really long. But I'll tell you this, in a way, it's not bad for $2.99. You're getting a lot to read,
visually, you get a treat, right? Yeah. Like Spawn comics always look fucking badass,
beautiful,
right? And the story is not always the strongest, but the story is decent, and the delivery and the dialogue can be really stagnant sometimes, most times. But King Spawn Works, Sean Lewis is writing that one. Gunslinger Spawn Works, Sean Lewis is writing that. It says with additional dialogue by Todd McFarlane. Todd's telling Sean what to write, right? But he's also like editing certain things. But so there are moments where you're like, Todd came in on this page, but he's been plotting this shit out forever. He doesn't want to let it go. I applaud that, but like, he's not the greatest writer, man.
Dude, just from watching Cartoonist Kayfabe, and I've been watching the episodes that they do, flipping through some of those early Spawn, and the artwork is great, worth the price of admission right there. I mean, it looks absolute next level. I see why it's so highly regarded, or why it was such a phenomenon.
Yeah.
What's the weakest Spawn book going right now? Scorched, you would say?
It's only 1 issue in.
It's
so I can't even really say that. But overall, the regular Spawn book, I think, has suffered with the launch of these other books. But it's still okay. But there are issues where it's okay, but it does not have the energy that Gunslinger has right now, but especially in particular King Spawn. And King Spawn is a book, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you only ever read like the first 10 issues of Spawn, like most people, you could read King Spawn and feel like you haven't really missed much.
Maybe that's why it's popping so well.
It's really, and the artwork by I think it's Javier Fernandez is freaking.
Oh, Fernandez is on that.
Oh my God, it's so fucking good, man.
That's one thing. McFarlane has an eye for art. I mean, the guy puts out some of the best. Like NECA and McFarlane are the 2 best like figure. Like I know there's Hot Toys and stuff, but I'm just talking about figure wise. You know what I mean? So like NECA and McFarlane have always been the 2 best, and McFarlane's just been always like ahead of the curve, like especially back in the day, like with the movie Maniacs and stuff. And I used to they had the basketball and football figures he would do that were literally like lifelike, and they were like they would be like statues where it'd be like LeBron dunking like in a dunking position, and you put like a metal piece through his back, and it'd be like a piece of like it would look like the basketball hardwood floor, and that you'd like stick the peg into that, and it would like look like he's dunking it. You know what I mean? So he's always done some great stuff.
Dude, speaking of toys, Robbie, what the hell? I recognize that behind you in place of your Castle Grayskull, but I can't for the life of me think of what the hell that is. What is that?
Snake Mountain, man.
Oh, okay.
Skeletor's evil domain.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
with
sick,
the
that
little Mike
sick.
Myers, and Pinhead, and a little Pop Jason, and my Ted Raimi signed autographs. Speaking of signed autographs, Dylan, there were some announcements for Scarefest this year that have popped up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember it off the dome. So the dude who played the fat guy in Teen Wolf and Pee-wee's Big Adventure, he was also in was it Macy or something like that? What's that serial killer dressed like a clown?
John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne
Gacy. Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy.
He was in that movie. He's there. Tom Matthews is there from Jason Lives and Return of the Living Dead. He played Tommy Jarvis in Jason Lives. They also, it seems like they're trying to put together a Jason Lives reunion because they got the guy who played Jason in Jason Lives is going to be there. Kane Hodder's coming back. So now I can get a Hatchet photo signed. And so I'll have a Jason and a Hatchet. That'd be cool. And then from Friday 3, they got one of the chicks, one of the hot chicks, actually. But she's a little bit older now. But they also get that Shelby doofus fuck.
That's the best guy in the whole franchise.
From part 3 is going to be there, man.
He's the most relatable.
Somebody he's the most pathetic character in a movie, Verno. Don't say he's relatable.
Somebody said it on your channel that at least you remember him. And that's a good point because most of those characters in the whole franchise are forgettable. Yes. But everybody remembers that dude.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about it. He's the one that gave Jason the mask, basically.
Right.
Yeah. But Kirby, I have heard some of the. I didn't know that's the name of him, Raven Banner. But I've heard of Spare Parts because my man Kevin would always talk about that. Because I thought Spare Parts is based off a comic book, even. But Dead Dick sounds interesting, and Yummy. I swear I've heard of that, but I don't know if I've watched it. But yeah, we'll have to check some of those out. And Titan, Gary North was talking about, and I've heard of that. I don't remember what it's about though. But yeah, let me see. Is there anything else? The Fright Rags dropped some new stuff. Did you see that, Robbie? They got like Eric Draven stuff.
Yeah.
From The Crow. What was
Cavity Colors has got a new Elvira line dropping that's pretty short.
Oh yeah. I saw that on Instagram.
Have you guys done The Crow yet?
No. Y'all can do that when I'm out.
I don't know.
No, I'll do that for Valentine's Day.
You don't like The Crow, Robbie?
No, I don't.
I do.
Wow. Fire it up. Fire it up.
Evil dies tonight. Evil dies.
I love it, dude. I am like so proud to have this. Because I got the VHS slipcover for Halloween 6 and this.
That's awesome. God, I haven't seen it in a while, but that was like one of my favorite movies ever as a kid.
Yeah, it's I love it, man. I'm a big fan of that. Maybe that's what we'll review when fucking Robbie's gone.
That'd be down. Whatever you want to do, brother.
That'd be perfect for the Valentine's weekend too. So many couples will be wanting to sit back, relax, and watch The Crow.
Yeah. But let's see.
I mean that like genuinely. There's one even a bit like for real. Like that seems like a romance. Like certain goth couples I know would probably do that on Valentine's.
Right.
Dude, you know how many people that want to get married on Halloween because of that movie too? I mean, they probably just want that. Like confirms it though when they see The Crow.
Yes.
This is. Oh, and did you hear Ron Perlman was saying that he feels fans deserve Hellboy 3 from Del Toro?
Yeah, but he also said he didn't want to do it because he was 70.
Yeah. Is he 70? Wow.
Yeah, something 70 or 60. I think it said he was 71. Wow. Maybe he's younger than that. I think he's younger than that. But he was the Beast in the early 90s. And that was 30 years ago.
Wait, the Beast?
Yeah, and Beauty and the Beast, the TV show.
No, I didn't know that.
You don't remember that with Linda Hamilton? No. Late 80s, early 90s. Beauty and the Beast is a big deal.
Wow, really?
Y'all are younger than me.
I don't remember it.
Well, I grew up.
Look it up. It really happened. Ron Perlman played Beast in a Beauty and the Beast live action TV show.
Oh, he is. He's 71, man. And he's about to be 72 in April.
Old man Hellboy.
Oh my God.
Some of our celebrities are getting old. Like it freaks me out. Even just looking at Sylvester Stallone and Schwarzenegger, it's like these are old ass men, dude.
No wonder why he's not Hellboy.
I've seen that. I've seen that image.
He's like Lion-O, bro.
Oh my God.
He got that role just because of the shape of his face, which actually he got most of his roles because of the shape of his face. He's got one of the most unique faces ever.
Hamilton. That's crazy. Does he ever get to come out and like not wear the makeup towards the end? Or did it get canceled?
Dude, that show came out when I was like probably like 9 and 10 or 11, and it sucked for me. I wanted action shit. It was like all romance and shit. I didn't watch that fucking shit. I watched Cop Rock, my friend.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
If you don't know what cop rock is, just look it up. You'll be really thankful in some form or fashion.
Let's see, though. I think that's probably all I got for horror news.
It was a primetime cop drama that was a musical.
I remember vaguely Cop Rock. I remember it more about it getting made fun of later on than I actually remember the show.
It's so stupid. Ah.
Well, yeah, but I definitely cannot wait for freaking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm not crazy excited, but I do want to really see it. So I'm trying to think. There's really nothing horror. I'm trying to think what horror movies are coming out in between the next like 2 weeks. You know,
when's that drop? That Texas Chainsaw? You might have said
February 18th.
Okay,
so we'll get in about like 3 weeks.
Damn, we're getting Batman like 2 weeks after that.
That's another one. That's what I was gonna throw that out there, and then I forgot. I cannot freaking wait for that, dude. I just cannot. 3 hours too. They McFarlane did I put it on my IG, but McFarlane's got doing the figure, obviously. And there's one like without the cowl, and it looks pretty good. I don't but he has like the black eyes. And then there's one with the cowl, and the one with the cowl looks really good.
I'm excited for it, man. I mean,
I like the vibe of that, bro. I really want to watch 7. Like every time I watch it, the trailer, because I've watched the trailer so many times, I really like want to just put on 7.
Well, that trailer is every movie I go to. Here comes that trailer. I'm almost sick of seeing it. It's like, come on, I get it. I don't want to see these images too much. I usually don't even watch the trailers, but I've watched that one a bunch of times.
Dude, I've watched it too much, man. But the thing, like I don't think they've spoiled anything, to be honest, which I kind of want them to not. I guarantee they're going to release one more trailer. But at this point, I just kind of would like rather than, if they do release anything, don't like put anything, or just keep releasing like tiny, small, like 30-second TV spots. Because I don't want them to spoil anything. There's 3 hours, so maybe it's gonna be
I was thinking that too, right? Exactly.
But it's just, dude, every time I go see a movie like Halloween Kills, bro, they like they like ruined the entire fucking movie with the trailers. Oh, that's what it was. They started filming Halloween Ends.
Oh, nice.
A lot of footage has been people like set photos and stuff.
When's that supposed to be coming? Do you know? Is it like already known? This Halloween.
Yeah. So that's going to be kind of, I thought they had already filmed it. I thought they filmed Halloween Kills and Ends back to back. So I was kind of shocked at that. Maybe they filmed a couple scenes from like, because what I think is it's going to like continue, like leave off exactly where Kills ended. And then it's going to do a time jump, kind of like Endgame. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much. It could just be like 5. It could be 10 minutes and then they do a 4-year jump. Because that's what they're jumping from 2018 to whatever year it comes out. So it's going to go from 2018 to 2022.
Well, that Jason's like approaching that Michael's approaching 70 years old. So
yeah,
they can't jump too far. It's like getting a little silly.
Bro.
You guys should build that into Horror Fest, though. Plan that out and cover it that week when it comes out.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do, Verno.
I'll definitely be talking about that.
It's a suggestion.
Dylan can cover it.
It's a good one.
Dylan's part of Horror Fest. Yeah, you should
do it. Because I love me some Halloween. I loved Halloween Kills. I didn't love the storyline so much, but I loved the movie, man. I thought the kills were.
That sounds like, I bet we're going to hear that same thing later on.
No, because Halloween Ends. I'm hoping Halloween Ends is a better story, man, because Halloween Ends isn't going to have as many kills like Halloween.
I wasn't talking about that movie, but okay.
What movie? Oh, wait, what movie?
I think he's talking about The Void.
The Void.
Oh.
That movie that we're supposed to be reviewing tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say though. So speaking of The Void, man,
man.
Let's hear it, Robbie. Let's hear it.
What, you want to start with me?
Yeah, start with Robbie.
I want to start with Robbie.
I want to start with me.
Verno wouldn't be here if he hated it.
You never
I'm
know.
down. Okay, all right.
True, you did come for yeah.
I can't necessarily say I liked this movie. I would say that it's a bad movie. But there are things in this movie that are done exceptionally well. Those things are the practical effects, right? Some elements of tone and atmosphere. But what they really completely botched the job on, in my opinion, is having a cohesive story and having characters that I give a shit about and having the relationships between those characters be interesting and compelling and just all in all making a fun experience. So this really heavily is influenced by like 80s films. I would say in particular The Thing and Hellraiser, right? Like 100%. It's not clear on what's actually going on throughout the movie, even by the end. And that can be okay to leave certain things ambiguous, but they're leaving out details about like characters. Like these characters have like certain characters show up and they have a past with one another and they say certain things, but they never fulfill that or whatever. Certain characters' motivations don't make sense. Like the father and the son, they're like turned up to 11 from the fucking moment the movie starts. The moment it all starts into that hospital shit, right? They're acting like it's act 3 of a fucking zombie film and they don't even know each other. Right. And everybody's like, fuck you, you motherfucker. No, don't go in. Like, and there, I don't know, man. This movie is kind of confusing, but I can piece together what's going on. I like some of the concepts. I like the scope of what they're trying to do. But ultimately, there are no characters in here that I care at all about. So none of the deaths have meaning. It's got great, brilliant special effects, great, awesome gore. And the music doesn't quite push it forward. There's not any bit of comedy. This movie, if it wanted to really go back into the 80s, and I know that Hellraiser and The Thing weren't known as funny movies, but this could have used a little bit of some humor throughout to kind of ease things up, but mostly just to have a relationship between these characters. You're supposed to care about this state trooper and his wife, and they lost their kid, but like, it's just, it gets muddy. Nothing's developed. Not even the concept is really developed. This movie feels like it's a special effects reel, right? You know, like, yeah, this is what we can do if you give us money. Now, they crowdfunded this, and I think it's freaking awesome. However, it just didn't work for me on most levels that would make it rewatchable. But the special effects in this movie are like bad ass, like absolutely badass. But everything else was like either playing it safe or just not even playing. Just kind of phoning some shit in. I don't know. I thought the script was terrible. But
no, yeah, I don't think
it's worth watching. Some people will like it just because it's got some awesome, brilliant special effects. Yeah. I just wish it had a story to go along with it, is what I'm trying to say, I guess, in a nutshell.
I hear it, man. I hear it. Because I like when I first watched it, I just thought, I was like, maybe it's one of those you kind of don't pick all of it up on the first watch, you know what I mean? But
it could be, right? But
yeah,
first time watching it didn't necessarily make me want to go back and rewatch it. But
did you get like The Thing and Hellraiser vibes though? Kind of, you get those vibes.
Yeah, I literally said that, but yeah, like 100%.
You must have blocked out. I don't know how I didn't hear that.
It's all right, man. I'm just messing. But no, like for real. Like it starts out The Thing and it goes into Hellraiser territory.
Yeah.
Like even with the pyramid at the end, it's Leviathan. They're doing all that bit. They also have an homage to the Beyond at the very end when you see the couple, and they're in whatever the hell, the void, whatever it is, and they're walking. That's the end of the movie, The Beyond. So
Lucio Fulci.
Yeah. So there's a reference to that. So they're wearing their influences on their sleeves. Thank you, Verno.
You bet.
And they're but they're not making a, like, even some of the dumb Fulci films or Argento films or some of the dumb 80s American horror cinematic films, like even they at least have some humor there. They have some personality. All of these people, like, what the fuck? They felt like video game characters. Like plot wise, it felt like just a video game. Like there wasn't anything developed. It was like was I supposed to read a book before this? Like that father and son, that story. Why did they torch that woman? What was their connection to that cult? Like so much. Like I don't mind leaving certain things about the overall concept unanswered because that's easy to piece together. Like what the Doctor kind of breached in his pursuit of ending death, right? Like he opened up, so it's Lovecraftian, but it just doesn't deliver on a story. Like it just shows you that you can have all the special effects, you can make it look flashy, you can make it look great, it can be gory, but if you ain't got a story and if you ain't got characters that like have like dynamics together to like invest our interest, it just becomes like a special effects reel and a rather slow one if that's what it is, you know. But it's still pretty cool.
The I don't know, the beginning is weird, I feel like, but it's that kid and the guy like that he just picked them up along the way. They're not actually father and son.
No, that they are. They are.
No, I thought they weren't. Like
because when they wind up having their shared vision,
well,
like when they wind up having their shared vision, when they're like, I guess hell's leaking in. I don't fucking like. Okay, I assume
there's a picture. There's a family picture with those two together, with the mom and the kid. There was a baby and a mom that were part of their family that died. That see like a family portrait of that beginning.
I thought that like his wife got killed, and son like this fucking cult was going after them, and so he's tracking them, and they killed the mute guy's family as well.
It's the same family. They word it oddly earlier where they're like his whole family got killed.
Yeah,
and it's both of their family.
Okay, see that's where then it threw me off because I thought that like they kind of like teamed up together just to kind of track this cult. You know what I mean?
I'll just say, this movie is fucking awesome. This movie is the shit. It's really, really good. I watched it twice. I enjoyed it the first time, and I agree with a lot of what Robbie said, where I'm like, there's not much in the way of character arcs. There's no humor. There's not many likable characters. But I watched it again, and there still wasn't arcs or humor. But I picked up on a lot more of the subtleties, especially with those. The only names they have is the father and the kid. And pretty much what happened with them is the kid and the whole family were attacked by these cult members. The dad was gone. That's why he's like kind of pissed at the kid, the one he got his throat sliced. That's why he doesn't talk throughout the movie. So it's all subtle, but it's all there, especially when you add in the vision. And you already said like the practical effects are bonkers crazy. They're like so damn good. And the acting, I think the acting is solid. It's not over the top good. Nobody really stands out, but
it's not B acting either.
Yeah, it's all really good. The characters are decent. The story is subtle as shit, but like, think about it. If that was going on, how many jokes would you be cracking? I mean, I get it. But not every horror movie has to have humor. I loved it, dude. I think it's something that everybody's got to check out. They should probably check it out twice because they leave so much unanswered. And when I first watched it, I'm like, well, there's not much thematic material, but there is. Like everybody lost a child in the movie. The doctor lost a kid. The dickhead guy that they just call the father lost a kid.
Yeah.
Daniel and his wife, Allison, the nurse, they lost a kid. So there's all that going on. And I don't know. I thought it was awesome, dude. I was watching the whole time and I'm arguing with Rockin' Robbie Billups in my head. Who the fuck is this guy? This guy loves Cabin Fever and all these, you know what I mean? All these shitty movies, and he's talking shit about this. I'm like shocked that you like dislike it that much.
I kind of am too, because I thought he was gonna be like hyped for this.
I think it's fire, dude. I think everybody needs to check this out. It's free on Crackle.
Well, I didn't call you out, my friend. Jesus Christ. I just really think that like we were talking about Todd McFarlane.
Right.
It looks pretty, but
I think there's more there though. There's more.
Everything is subtle.
Yeah, I've only watched it once with commercials, which doesn't help it.
It doesn't help, dude. And I did fall asleep the first time because it was late. I've been working hard recently, but I think it's really, really solid, dude. Like,
bro. But as soon as they show up, you get what I'm saying. They're like in Act 3 of a Romero film.
This is Act 3 of their film. They've already been through this shit.
Yeah, but there's like, I don't know, man. It just gets so wonky at first. Maybe I need to bruh. I don't know, man.
And it keeps you guessing. Like it's shocking. Like it keeps on ramping up. Like from the first bit, we've got the nurse stabbing the guy in the eye. They go outside. There's all these freaky cult people wearing sheets.
I'm on board at that point.
Yeah. It keeps getting weirder and weirder. And I kept getting like shocked throughout the whole movie. Like, what the hell is going on? I mean, I understand a lot of what you said, though, as far as like, I'm not saying it's like a 10 out of 10 or anything. It does lack some story and character arcs and development. Like, I don't think there's much in the way, like, nobody gets an arc besides the main character. Like, nobody else.
Whatever, right?
But there's struggles like with characters that Asian nurse trying to do. She doesn't like actually solve any of her problems. She doesn't like get any arc. She just is like weak the whole time and unable to act.
At least I could not predict who were going to be the survivors in this film.
Right.
So that was cool. Like, I thought she was going to be one of the first to get got, you know?
Right. And it was, what makes it so weird is like, it's like a Stranger Things kind of a thing where there's like, you've got the void like bleeding into our reality and it's causing people to hallucinate and all that. Yeah. The guy goes out to the cop car to get the gun. He's like, it's right outside. And they go out there and it's like a half a mile away. He's like, what the fuck? And then at the end of the movie, once it's all resolved, they purposely show the outside of the hospital and the cop car is right there again. Just like, it was messing with reality and causing people to like hallucinate. And like, if you hallucinate and you kill someone, then you can be reborn. Because that's what it's all about, is like not accepting death, not accepting your own mortality, and not accepting like not getting over the grief of like family members and shit like that. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was great. Really.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too, man. I wouldn't say it was perfect either. I thought the effects were incredible, which me and Robbie found out that the guys who directed it were like got their start in like the makeup effects department.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. And I always kind of dig those kind of.
They did Del Toro work. Yeah. Shape of Water, Pacific Rim, shit like that.
I always dig those movies that are like when effects guys like go out and make their own movie, man. Like Pumpkinhead, Stan Winston was an effects guy, goes out and makes his own movie, you know. So a lot of those I always kind of have a soft spot for. But I definitely see Robbie's points, but I think it's shot very well. Mm-hmm. You know, I think it looks great. Like when they go down and they're saying like we're in hell, you know, this is hell. That like looks incredible. The effects are really good. I mean, you get a little giallo in there when the cop goes into the room and the nurse is like pulling the scissors out of the guy's eye. You know, there's a lot of fun stuff in there, man.
It's a big Fulci influence.
Yeah.
That's why she turns. That's why she like transforms that nurse that stabs him in the eye, is because she got driven by the visions to kill someone. And if you kill someone, then you can transform into someone else. And that's why
you get that.
Well, partially from watching it. Dude, I'm telling you, my fiance, she like picks up on everything. Like she'd be like, "Oh no, you didn't get that, this and that." I'm like, "Thank you." You know what I mean? For real.
Yeah.
But then the second time I watched it,
like a genius tonight, baby.
She even told me what the void means. The void is like the void you feel when you lose someone.
Yes.
And you're trying to fill that. Like I didn't pick up on that.
I picked up on that. I mean, that's like right there, I think. But
right.
Do they develop it really? Because like the story, like, so the main story is supposed to be about the state trooper and his wife, maybe ex-wife or whatever, right? But like the nurse who can, I guess, just, if I have to, I'll do a C-section. Like, can you? Can you?
Right.
Like, are you cool with that? And then was that chick faking the whole time?
That was weird. But I did like that kid. That smile on her face was freaky as hell. That she just afterwards, she's like, I want to cut people's heads off.
I don't know, man. It's like a McFarlane script for me. Like maybe this is what Spawn movie is going to be like, right? It's going to, but whatever. But like, I don't know. Like they're supposed to be the story. They're the ones holding hands in the beyond at the end of the film, right? Mm-hmm. To really let you know that Fulci's appointed this film and the eyeball and the monsters coming out and everything, and also they saw Alien Resurrection. They knew that kind of looked creepy, but looked doofy at the end. And so they did their own version of it with the baby coming out and dragging the corpse by the umbilical cord. So that shit's awesome. So like there are moments of this movie where I really do. I don't think every horror movie needs to have humor, but if this one had a little bit of humor interjected into it, it could have brought a little bit of personality. Like instead of being like, when she's like, I might have to do a C-section, instead of being like, our baby's dead, get over it, don't make this about that. Like maybe like crack a joke, trying to like warm her over, but it doesn't work. Like,
right.
Like everybody is like on act 3 from the beginning. Like, I get that they are like the father son. I get that, but like, and I know you don't want to be cliche and have the scene where they're sitting there and they bond and they're like, 2 nights ago, my daughter, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it just not. I feel like they had to crowdfund this movie. They had a big backer pull out. They had everything ready to go. They had a big backer pull out, and then they had they crowdfunded this shit on Indiegogo, right?
Way.
And they made this on a very limited budget. And I applaud the filmmakers for what they're doing there. I just think that it was such a massive undertaking for what they were doing and the resources they had. They made the best of what they did, but they just needed somebody to like spruce that script up a little bit, I think.
I mean, maybe because of that backer coming out, maybe it affected it a little bit where they couldn't add some more like they put all their money into the effects. You know, that happens a lot of times too. Especially
and their effects guys,
all practical.
Yeah, their effects guys, they're trying, and I think maybe the movie is trying to be more serious than it actually should be.
Yeah.
But like certain elements of it were done very well.
The subject matter is super, super serious, though. It's all about death and grief and the loss of children for the most part. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a really serious movie. I think it's different.
You lean me into the character then, right? Like introduce me to some of the characters a little bit earlier.
Right.
And then naturally maybe start in the beginning of the day and build up the relationship between the state trooper and his wife. Just build it up a little bit more at the beginning, and then you can add in the random element of this father-son dynamic. You can have the craziness at the hospital. I mean, I loved the concept of it. Like, I loved what they were trying to explore. I just think that script-wise, they just didn't quite get into it the way they probably wanted to.
Clearly, they're trying to be like really subtle about everything. Like everything. Even you don't even know that their husband and wife until she's already gone, and he's like, God damn it, I can be angry at my wife. You're like, oh, that's his wife. Like that was kind of their idea. You can tell is let's be super subtle about everything and not explain a goddamn thing until you get the doctor kind of doing the exposition scene when Allison, the wife, is on the gurney and all that. And that's when you get like the only exposition in the film until the final scene, pretty much.
Yeah. I knew that they had something going on though, the wife or the deputy and the nurse, just because as soon as he comes in, he like puts the guy away and he's like, I forget what he's doing. And she just comes and stands in the doorway and brings him a cup of coffee.
Right.
You know, like I missed you, where I knew that they had something. You just don't know about like them losing the kid and everything.
Yeah, you remember even when the cops coming in, he finds this guy and he's going to the police or going to the hospital, and he calls it in and he's like, tell him at the hospital that I'm coming in. He's like, tell him it's me. Like pretty much saying like, prepare my wife or you know, to know that it's going to be me coming in.
Yeah.
Like little subtle shit like that. And even we've talked about it a few times, like Robbie's mentioned it, like, why are all these hospitals at night so dead? Why is there nobody there?
This one makes a little sense,
right.
Though. This one, because they're moving and
there was a fire.
Yeah, there was the fire, and they're in the process of relocating, but they had a few people there packing stuff, and in case somebody, because it's supposed to be a small town too, where that old guy, the crazy chick who's pregnant, he's like, I don't want to have to, you know, drive out to the city every time the baby starts getting fidgety, you know. But yeah, it has some wild stuff for it. Then there's all that stuff with the guy who they're like chasing, and then like he was partying, having threesomes or whatever, and you know that was kind of I was wondering what was kind of going on with that, but I don't know, man. I thought it was pretty good, man. I would have. I always feel like sometimes the script isn't 100% polished when it's like makeup effects guys doing it, but I was surprised how good it was, man. And it's hard to, man, for somebody to say like it gives me John Carpenter / Thing or the Thing / Hellraiser vibes. That's an accomplishment right there. I feel like and the movie only came out in 2016, so like I feel like nowadays, man, like if somebody watched this and they're just like, wow, this only came out, like 5 years ago or whatever, it's like, damn.
I like that there's not a sequel either, and that they say
Yeah.
that they're not doing one. Like a lot of people will be tempted to like, all right, let's go into the void now and explain all this and that.
Yeah.
That would ruin it, I think.
Hellraiser 2.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was wondering the way it ends. I was like, is that it? And then they show the cop and his wife.
You guys are making me feel like the sleazy Hollywood guy that wants to come and be like, add some 80s synthwave music, pop up the humor, bring it up. Come on, make it exciting.
I thought I was surprised you said the music wasn't overly complex, but it was super atmospheric. And that's why when we got on backstage, I was listening to beforehand. I was listening to Pink Floyd. One of these days, we're gonna cut you into little pieces because that's what it was just all bass and then like atmospheric noise. I thought it was solid.
In Act 3, when he's opening the pyramid door or whatever, the triangle door, and that music, like I like that. That's something I could just really like honestly smoke an L and just fucking zone the fuck out listening to that shit, get lost. I could do some shrooms and listen to that shit, find out something about reality.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's gonna get dark.
Yeah, it could, but sometimes you need those kind of ideas.
Scare the shit out of you
until you go into the abyss. I feel like I did that one time. I don't have the shades on.
I did it too many times.
What did you think of like the Doctor's look? Like once he kind of comes back and his like death look,
Well, what's crazy to me is that if we want to get into characters, the Doctor would probably be my favorite character once he takes his skin off. So the Doctor is played by the guy, you guys remember Survival of the Dead?
Mm-hmm.
So the Doctor is the guy, the dad in Survival, and the daughter who has the twin zombie like sister.
Yeah.
That's the trooper's nurse wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a Romero connection there.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. He is such a different character. I like how they portray him in one way. The heel turn, I'm just like, instead of being like, oh, it's the fucking Doctor, I was like, I thought he was dead. What's going on?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's the whole thing. He wanted to die because that way he could transform. He needed to die.
Once he takes that skin off, he basically is Frank from Hellraiser.
Right.
And it's working for me. I love the look. It looks dark. That cinematography there is brilliant. The effects of it opening, it's all really cool there, right? And then the end of the movie happens, which is they're really just going to, that's how it ends, like kind of rather abruptly. And I get it. Life happens like that. I defend the end of Coen Brothers movie to be like, look, that's how life is. Shit just ends. But I would say that I really liked the Doctor once he got to that point. He was a really cool threat. It was menacing. It was creepy. It was ultra interesting. And I think that was one of the shining moments with the characters or with the story was that concept, that explanation, that exploration thematically on grief and the void inside, what it's like to lose something, to lose someone. And that it's always there and how that correlates to the abyss, hell, whatever dimension you want to call it. It's Lovecraftian, where we're breaching into the unknown, and what is really out there is bigger and grander than we can even think of, right? So that's another element that I would have liked to see if that was developed. Like, he's not in control. This is a force trying to get through that's not necessarily what you're expecting or what you want. He just wants his daughter back, not some kind of crazy ass fucking gnarly monster.
Right. And he's happy about the daughter looking like that.
Yeah. So it wears its influences on its sleeve, maybe almost too much, where it's not trying to do anything other than, I think, look cool. It is trying to say something. But the Doctor's probably the best part of it, character-wise, for me.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah, I probably would agree, honestly. He's got the most, going for him. And he has probably the biggest character, development.
The turn could be better though for me, because I understand that he wanted to die, But the way the reveal happened, the way you do that is to like show me like a dramatic paced scene of him awakening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like show the monster rise.
Well,
and that's when you're like,
show him gone or something. Like they just show, like, because he had the sheet over him and he's just gone.
We find out so much in this movie along with the characters, which is fine. But sometimes when you're trying to do something that doesn't rely on humor breaks, that doesn't rely on other tricks to kind of even out its pace and have a little bit more of a roller coaster effect, because that's what you kind of want. You want to be interested. You want to go kind of up and down and shit at times. Not saying it needs to be like thrilling, but like one of the other things you could have done was just, I don't know, man, just focus on that aspect a little bit more. Like dive into what was going on with that doctor. I forgot where the fuck we were going. I'm sorry. I tried to pull that back together. I lost it.
I think like they pretty much explain everything about before. He had at the house that we see at the beginning, that's where he was performing similar things, experiments, and he was able to like warp reality where pretty much the basement of the hospital and the basement of that place were the same thing. That's why you've got that guy that was running away at the beginning. He's like, I've been in this room before. It's because they were doing the same thing there at that place.
Yeah.
So like he'd been up to these tricks for a while. And then plus it gave him a great excuse to have all those freaky monsters in the basement, because they're like, well, we've been trying to get this right. And
that shit was dope.
Right. Just dude, the guy sitting there headbutting the pipe. There's just so many moments. Like I was blown away by like there's like 10 moments of practical effects that are like, wow, you know, like mind blowing. When the baby is born, they resurrect Sarah, the doctor's daughter, and she's all freaky looking, and she steps on the head of the cult guy in the sheet, and it just splashes out. Like there was a shitload of amazing moments like that were paced out well. It's not like it was one after another. It was like,
what did you think about like the cult members? Like, even though you don't really get like, were they creepy to you with the sheet and the pyramid? I thought they were pretty creepy.
If I had a white sheet when you flipped on and introduced me, I'd have been wearing that white sheet with a triangle over my head. But I'm fresh out over here. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a cool look for sure. Even with the knife that went with it, like visually, this movie was amazing.
It's like a dagger or something.
Yeah, I thought it looked cool.
I thought the cult members looked cool, but they could have utilized them a little bit more. They could have broken into the hospital at some point. They could have. I know they were just trying to keep them in there. Like I get all that, but like I don't know. I mean, they're all right, but they were kind of underutilized.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm disappointing Verno.
Oh,
and
no.
What I was saying was with a heel turn with the doctor, we could have just had more of an impact at that moment to like, that's what I was saying. It was to like, we learned so much along with the characters, but sometimes when you're not relying on other tricks, it's good to let the audience know something that the characters don't to add a little bit more interest, suspense, and tension and care into what's about to happen to them.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right,
so,
right.
That's something maybe like, and that's an early writer's kind of thing. Like you learn and experience everything with the characters because you're supposed to have characters introduce us to the stories, but maybe they should have revealed a little bit more to the audience that the characters didn't know to add a little bit more, like, I don't know, to me, a little bit more like suspense for the characters, like worry for what they were about to experience.
I saw Tarantino talk about that. What's that damn movie that he did that he wrote before Pulp Fiction and all that? The hell is that?
True Romance?
Yes, True Romance. Okay. True Romance. He talks about how he purposely tried to pace it out to where it's like, okay, the audience doesn't know anything, the characters know stuff, and then in the middle of the movie, we're gonna make it so you know what I mean? They flip that, and it's something I'd never until seeing that like thought about. That's like the way a story is written, and it does. I get what you're saying perfectly there.
I like that. I thought the cult members with the triangles were from the Squid Games. A little different, but
what's the Squid Game?
What the fuck's a Squid Game?
Is that a TikTok thing? Did he just say making fuck? I haven't done that one in several.
You haven't, man.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. Yeah. That's another.
I don't have a catchphrase. I got to work on that.
Yeah, you do. I got like 20.
I noticed.
I got like 2. Dylan, you son of a bitch. You know, that used to be the one I used to always go. When I'd come in the chat, I'd be like, Robbie, you son of a. And everyone just be like, you son
Dude,
of a
I need to send it to you. Hammer Time Holeshoe sent me one he made today. Let me see if I can find it real quick. He made this. He goes, for the first time you guys do a kaiju. First time you guys do a kaiju movie review.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John loves kaiju.
Me too.
But this is going to be a joke for like kaiju people.
Yeah, he does, because he has that big ass Criterion Godzilla set.
He made that for you.
Did he? That's too funny.
Like,
oh my god. That is so awesome. I love Holeshoe for that.
I've never been able to get into like kaiju or any of the like. What's like a good? What should I watch if I want to get into like a big monster movie, other than like 60-year-old Godzilla movies?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. The best out of all of them is the original Japanese version of Gojira. Just watch that. That's so good. Everything else is just guys in rubber suits fighting each other.
Yeah, so
I'm not the expert on that, but
sometimes they can be hard to get into.
Yeah,
especially sometimes, a lot of times there's subtitles. You know, they do have American dubbed versions though, but sometimes you got to kind of be in the mood. It's got to be like you want to be in the mood for like a B movie night. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the original Japanese Gojira is not a B movie. That is an incredibly like nuanced and resonating film. That movie is brilliant, man.
The original Godzilla
not
and
the
original King Kong.
Yeah, the original.
Those are the two that and I love the original King Kong. So, but it's been a while since I've seen the original Gojira.
But then just watch Rampage with The Rock. I'm sure. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure.
I like
that one. I like that.
I like all those stupid The Rock movies, honestly.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually hyped to see him play Black
I think Godzilla 86 is what it is. 84 or 86. That's a well-referenced one. And the first one with King Ghidorah is pretty fun. I don't remember what it's called. And then there's the first one with Mechagodzilla is pretty dope. So.
Yeah, they definitely do have some cool ones because there's a lot. That's the thing. So you kind of got to weed through some, but there's a lot of good ones, man.
I'll tell you what, I actually did a kaiju movies podcast for Pop Culture Philophers a few years ago.
Really?
And I wasn't an expert, but John is, and we had experts on that show. So that podcast is out there. You should maybe listen to it. I'm sure they'll have a lot of things to say. And we do a top 5 kaiju films.
Yeah.
And I'm sure on that episode I just keep saying like I haven't really watched a lot of these.
I like the intros to your old podcast that you do. From Pop Culture Philosophers, Rockin', Robbie, Billups. Who did that, by the way?
That's
Whose
me.
voice is that? That's you?
Yeah.
Get out of Dodge. That's crazy. Does not sound like you at all.
Yeah, I did some effects and tweaking, editing with it, but yeah, that's me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Huntsville Attic Studios, it's Pop Culture Philosophers. And here are your hosts, Rockin' Robbie Billups and John Hammer Time Holeshoe.
It's all those years I DJ'd, it never dawned like the last week that I was there, because I never did like a coming up now, like stretching out words like that kind of announcer. And I realized that the last week, like, oh, I could do that. Why don't I ever do that? And I was doing it. So that's fucking hilarious.
Thank you.
You bet.
It's still the intro. It's still good.
I was wondering that.
Actually, I think I lost it. I'm gonna have to redo it. God damn it.
You know, I'd say Holeshoe's a big one in those kaiju movies, and Scarpad is another big one. Scarpad actually, like I'd be lying if I said like I was huge. Like I would always catch like the American versions as a kid and like kind of get into like the storyline. I would throw me off. It's more of them just fighting. You know what I mean? That I was like when I was a kid. But then me and Scarpad would like do these, like we would kind of like go behind stage and like watch these movies and just and fuck around and, you know, laugh about some. And there was some cool ones that he showed me. Like I forget, there was one like War of the Gargantua or something where there was like these two. They have a bunch of good like crazy ones, man. But I know a lot of people like Ultraman too, you know. let's see, what was that one called?
John's a big Ultraman fan. I know that.
Is he?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure. You know what I haven't seen in the chat yet? Any hashtag bring back the Hellboy songs.
Where is the Hellboy song?
We retired it. We retired it, man.
It'll be
This
back
was
then.
a fun one that I did like though with it's called War of the Gargantuas. The War of the Gargantuas. Which I think some of them, a lot of times they'll call like one of them Frankenstein sometimes even. But yeah, it's most of the time these guys just in suits.
Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. You call the Ghostbusters and we on patrol.
Ishiro Honda did a lot of good ones. But yeah, because you look, there's Frankenstein versus Baragon. They have like their own Frankenstein, but it looks like this.
It's coming.
Usually when I zoom, it'll work better.
Usually, but not always.
I know. Always not.
Yeah.
Just freaking look it up, man.
It's pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. I don't remember that. I don't remember Frankenstein in the Void, though it is a little bit like a Frankenstein story.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I got like huge Frankenstein vibe just because I was watching some of the Boris Karloff documentary before the stream. So I was watching The Void and then I watched that. I was starting that. But yeah, man, I thought The Void though was a lot of fun, man. I think it was shot pretty dang well. The music,
I was impressed by the cinematography. Like really, really impressed.
Atmosphere was right there. The music I thought was really great. Like when they kind of like are surrounding and it's just like the boo, like it was kind of like a echoing or a calling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I almost want like when I would hear it, I'm like, is everyone kind of hearing that? Kind of like letting. I almost forget. Do they say like? It's like kind of like a horn almost. I forget if like the characters say
they
like
mention the horns.
What is did I thought so, yeah. But
yeah, that's the way I kind of took it, is like there were actually horns playing from the hospital that were attracting these cult members to all come there. Well,
yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we would probably all agree and say the Doctor was the best character, right?
Yeah, I mean, the first go around, I didn't really care that much for the cop Daniel, but I thought he put on a stellar performance, and he actually did have an arc. He makes his sacrifice at the end to pretty much sacrifice himself and his life, which is part of it. And I liked the bit where did you guys take it as she had a miscarriage? Like they didn't actually Allison. Yeah. They didn't have the kid. It was a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And I liked the bit. It was just
stillborn, maybe.
Right. It was a wild thing to put in that they say that he was relieved because I don't know. That's just like a dark ass thing that you could almost understand. Like he wasn't ready or whatever it was. It's just a dark ass thing to go through. And that scene where they say that, and he has to make the decision to chop his wife's head off. And then they go silent on it and they just do the music and the pullback. That was dope as hell. You know what I'm talking about? Where you just see the silhouette of him hacking away. That was like the coolest scene in the movie to me. One of them.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I didn't even know that the cop, it says he was in The Empty Man.
The guy that,
the sheriff, it says he plays Paul in The Empty Man. I don't remember who Paul was is the thing. But
he looks like Draco Malfoy as an adult.
Kind of, yeah. That's why I had to look him up.
That's kind of, that's spot on, actually.
Just with shaved head, too.
It's the most spot on Verno's been tonight. I'm just kidding. You're making me rethink myself, bro. I don't like that when that happens. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But
that's what you do with me all the time, man. It's good. It's healthy.
I know. It is healthy. I like it.
I want you to watch it again. Because, dude, I'm telling you, like,
how many Bond movies I got to watch? I do want to watch.
No, fair enough. No, I get that.
I do want to watch it again, though. I want to watch it without commercials. It needs to wind up on Shudder or Amazon Prime or
the commercials screw it up because I rarely have pre-planned jokes, but that's what I was thinking when we got to characters. I was going to say my favorite character was Jake from State Farm because I saw him more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And Shaq.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Yeah, that Shaq commercial. I remember that. Yeah, I got that too. And
40
Montel Jordan.
I don't remember. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was wondering
how we do it.
I'm curious if we all get the same commercials. Like you guys have talked about going to see Scream, and you're seeing that Cursed commercial or preview. I saw it twice, and I didn't get that preview in my theater, which is weird. I wonder how that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought they'd show all the same stuff.
That's what I would think too.
Yeah, it's digital now. It used to be like the way it used to be because I worked at the theater. You would get these reels. And you would just get trailers and you would attach them. And sometimes you would get word that this trailer needs to be on this movie. Like the X-Men trailer was on Reindeer Games. Like that's how they got people to watch that bullshit fucking film, which I actually kind of like. It's a really good, bad movie. But if you've never seen Reindeer Games, that's where the X-Men trailer was. People bought tickets just to go. I worked at the theater at the time. People bought tickets to go watch that movie, to go see the X-Men trailer, and then just walk the fuck out.
That's hilarious. You guys know that movie? Okay, it's a movie that's coming out starring Ethan Hawke, and he's like, "Hey, kid, do you want to? What is it?
The Black Phone."
Yeah, like that preview was both times I went and saw Scream. That was.
See, I haven't seen that in the theater.
See, that's weird. You guys are clearly getting different previews.
I don't think I saw that. But the thing is, I walked away because I had to go get my girlfriend popcorn. So I didn't see that Curse commercial or the trailer. That's why I sent it to you guys because I was like, this was the one I was talking about.
That's based on a Joe Hill book, by the way, The Black Phone.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Joe Hill's story, yeah.
Yeah. Really? And it's directed by the guy who directed the original Doctor Strange. And I think he also did Sinister with Ethan Hawke. So Scott Derrickson, I believe his name is, and he's known for horror. So
it looks pretty good, but it looks like one that they're showing us a lot in the preview. I'll say that.
It looks fucking.
True Gun says that's the only way I'd watch it again is without commercials. Me too. I won't watch it on Crackle again. Nothing against Crackle.
Right.
Yeah,
great
Crackle
service.
Sucks with the commercials.
It's a lot.
Yeah, Crackle. Tubi
can be a lot sometimes. Tubi will fool you.
Better.
They won't give you a commercial for 30 minutes and you're like, this is the shit. Then they give you one every 10.
Right.
And you're like, man.
Well, it's like, remember old TV show, you'd be watching something on USA and it's just by the end of this 2-hour movie, you're getting a commercial every other minute. You know what I mean? They're like, well, they've committed to the bit. They're here. We're just going to really hit them. We know they'll stick around for the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks, man. I would have checked Tubi, honestly, but who knows, man. I watched it through like the AMC app, so I didn't have that.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't know if you usually buy these things.
I wanted to get the Blu-ray, but no, the Blu-ray is kind of hard to get.
Is it? That's what I was looking up right now.
DVD is a little bit easier, but the Blu-ray is kind of hard to get. I think it might be like $30, but I think I did find one because a lot of them are like European Blu-rays, which like
right now, if this is right. It's only $14.99 on Amazon. Yeah.
On Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
I have to look.
Yeah, there's another one.
Because I like every time I'm like just bored, I just throw on Cobra Kai. Like I'm just so addicted to it right now. Like Cobra Kai or the Karate Kid movies. Just like when I'm bored and can't find. Oh shit, bro! It wasn't like, dude, good looks on that because it wasn't like that the other day. You are right. That is the right one. Sometimes that's the thing with Amazon. Like 1 week, they're like, you can't find it, or they're like $40, and then the next week,
they're back.
Yeah.
Just looking down and scrolling down. I mean, we've all seen the cover a billion times, but it's got the Poltergeist. Like you might also like Poltergeist, and those two covers are so fucking similar. It's like the exact same thing, pretty much. Yeah. Poltergeist in the Void.
Yeah, that's one I definitely would like to get.
Yeah, Fable was mentioning that we should do Poltergeist.
It's derivative.
Yeah, he was.
It's derivative.
I'm not the biggest Poltergeist guy, to be honest. I don't know why.
What? That's a good movie, man.
I'm not saying it's not. Just for some reason, like as I've gotten older, I just don't like. When I was a kid, I liked it a lot more. Yeah. As I've gotten older, though, it's not. It just doesn't hit me in the same way. I don't know. It's weird.
I watched it because same thing, dude. When I was a kid, that movie was probably the scariest movie ever.
Yeah.
That clown. There was so many terrifying things about
The
it.
cemetery scene.
Did you guys go see? I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago now when they redid it. So I went. I showed my fiance that movie. Yeah, I didn't like it either. I saw it in 3D, and that it was not a movie that you should see in 3D.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name? He's always a character actor.
Sam something.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
That's not the role for him. Like I saw he was in it. I'm like, oh hell yeah, because I love Sam Rockwell. He's a character actor. He's not like the straight guy dad at all. Like that didn't fit him.
Who plays no Brett, Arizona green tea. I know that's why I hate bringing the jug out, because I feel like I get judged every time I start chugging it. Hey, I'm a big guy, bro, so this is like my cup. But is he chugging peanut oil? Oh my god. What was it? What the hell was I gonna say? Shit. Fuck, now I forget. Don't even worry about it. Before I sit there like just contemplating it. Oh, who played the original dad though?
Greg T. Nelson.
Yeah, see,
Coach.
The voice of the whatever she is, like the psychic medium, she had that crazy voice. But I do agree. When I watched it, it didn't age super duper well for sure. It didn't hit that hard.
The remake on first watch, I actually was like, this ain't bad, but it wasn't like great or anything. And then over watching it, because I actually own it somewhere. I haven't watched it in a while. And to be honest, at first I really only liked it because I was like, I love Sam Rockwell, to be honest. And I was like, it ain't enough, because it feels so weird seeing him in it. So at first I was like, well, I'm not, I can't love it just because I love Sam Rockwell. You know what I mean? I can't, but it's also another like kind of straight up remake, but I don't even think they do the clown in it. Or it's not as iconic. I think they might do some type of clown, but it's just not as iconic.
I feel like they do, and it just wasn't as good.
Yeah.
But have you guys ever went and seen like a bad, like not a bad movie, but like a not MCU, not like a huge budget movie in 3D? Like it's just not, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to like, where am I supposed to be looking? You know what I mean? Like they did an awful job. I don't know why we did that.
Yeah, I try to stay away from the 3D stuff, man, just because, I don't know, man. I feel like sometimes it ruins it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I could dig it. It's weird sometimes when, like, I always feel like they do 3D movies, and I'm like, don't they, like, have movies specifically made for 3D? Like, that's when sometimes I'll be like, okay, maybe it's, like, worth checking out. But then
sometimes they just convert it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's where I don't really care for it,
Like when Avatar came out, I was like, oh, this is going to change the world. Like, I'm like, this is the way movies are going to be. And yeah, it didn't stay that way.
It looked pretty, man. I remember sitting there like, oh.
Remember what they were saying at the time? There was people committing suicide. You remember that? It was like, oh, there's tons of people going and seeing Avatar, and afterwards they can't like stand reality because it's not as beautiful. It's not living up to Avatar. There's a rash of suicide.
I don't remember that, but that sounds like a good movie plot. The last movie you'll ever see.
Right. That's a Scream movie plot.
They don't really show that good. That's the clown in the remake.
It's creepy, but not in a good way. Kind of in a funny way.
And this is another one where it's like his nose is popped off.
No lie, speaking of 3D movies, Green Lantern was really good in 3D. Like the 3D effects of Green Lantern were really good. The movie, not so much, but the 3D was pretty good. So just gonna say. And I saw Nightmare Before Christmas. It was converted to 3D, but that worked. I saw The Phantom Menace. Remember they were going to do all the Star Wars films in 3D? They did only that one.
Yeah.
It sucked. It was not good.
I watched just with the red and blue cheesy 3D glasses. I watched on my non-3D TV Friday the 13th 3D, and it was awesome. Like I thought it was super badass. I didn't think it would work that well on my TV like that, but it does.
My buddy John, Hammer Time Holshoe, has the the 3D projector, and we watched it there with like the polarized lenses, and it looks fucking awesome. That movie is very gimmicky with its 3D, but it works, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
the
can know exactly what
harpoon,
you're saying.
when he shoots the fucking harpoon right at the camera, that shit's badass.
Even right at the beginning, they're like weaving their way through the sheets and everything, and I was like, "This is work." But you're right. There's all these parts where they're like doing this stuff, you know, like pointing it at the screen.
Hey, buddy, check it out, man. Look, what do you think?
Kirby said, "Fun fact: I got a haircut this week, and next to me was the co-writer of Poltergeist, Michael Grayus. Pretty cool, but would have been cool if it was Spielberg. That is pretty cool, man. That is pretty cool." What the hell was I watching, man? Oh, dude, my girlfriend has been watching the freaking reality TV show, and he like bought his best friend a samurai sword signed by Randy Jackson, and I was just like laughing so hard, man. Because I was gonna say you should have got something signed by him, like a samurai sword.
My brother was at like what the hell are they called? A rest stop, a roadside rest stop, and he's in the bathroom taking a piss, and he looks over next to him, and Captain Spaulding's standing there taking a piss.
No.
He goes, "You fucking Captain Spaulding?" He goes, "Fucking right, brother."
Oh, dude, he was the best, bro. He was the best. Rest in peace to my man.
They couldn't be any better. He also was at an airport, and he looks over and he sees Flava Flav standing there. And my brother's like, he didn't want to draw any attention or anything like that. And then next thing you know, people are like, Flava Flav. He's like, Flava Flav. Like he wanted all the attention. All this crowd started pumping around him. He had the clock on. He had the whole Flava gear.
I just love that fuck yeah, brother.
Fuck yeah.
Sid Haig, bro. He was like the nicest guy too, man. Like just a sweetheart. My man worked with Lon Chaney, bro, Jr. Like he did towards the end of Lon Chaney's career. He did it like when Sid Haig was young. I forget it. It might have been a TV show, but he worked with Lon Chaney, bro. Nice. Sid Haig, man, was the GOAT, bro. Like legend. Trying to think what that movie was, man. I love, dude.
Look how many times we veered away from the void. Y'all really still like this film?
I'm surprised by Dylan's lack of enthusiasm about the film. I thought it was going to be.
I'm the one who wanted to do it. I liked it.
I expected you to be like, "Fuck yeah, this movie was amazing." People, yeah, it was really good.
It was amazing. Robbie just made me open my eyes about the script. I had like the script, what I didn't think was like incredible.
Right, and I agree.
I like that it was kind of left open a little bit. Like everything doesn't have like Robbie, and that's a big reason why I thought Robbie would love this, because I'm like, he doesn't always like everything to be explained or everything to be right on the nose. So I was like, this is pretty like it's more where Robbie can kind of like come up with all these crazy ass theories, which I love always hearing from Robbie. You know, I thought this would be
I have about the concept, but not about the characters, man. Like I still need to relate to someone in the movie, and I didn't. I was not attached to anybody in this film. When they died, I didn't care. Like it looked cool, but I didn't care. I didn't feel something. Even in Friday 13th, sometimes you're just like, she was hot. You know what I'm saying? Or he was funny. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes at least there's that. I don't know.
Tits, man. Like what the fuck?
I think it's just and it wouldn't have taken much. I get what you're saying. If they just added a little bit more.
I think me and Bruno just we're a little caught off guard with you now. We thought you were gonna love it.
Well, you told me last. I knew. You said it on the Best Comics of the Month stream. You're like, this movie fucking blows, and I hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, well, shit, I wasn't even gonna watch it. He's like, no, watch it. So I did. I went into it.
You may have a different opinion,
right? You lowered my expectations, so then I watched it, and you know what I mean. It made it a different experience, pretty much. But I mean, like I'll ask you guys this. Yeah, I am too, for sure. Do you guys? I think it's like up there with like some of the best practical effects that I've seen in any movie in the last generation of films, last 10 years. Like those monster designs are insane, and they don't quit with it too.
Yeah.
Like, can you guys? Well, what's another movie that you think kind of is comparable to that? That's more of a recent movie.
The Beast or whatever was fucking crazy, man.
This is the best I can think of in the modern era.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly.
Okay. Right.
Like I can't even the movies that immediately come into my mind all are from the 80s. And that was like this movie is very 80s in certain aspects of it, including most importantly that the practical effects. Those are amazing. The closest thing I could think of would be like Pan's Labyrinth, like those Del Toro films, because he blends CG, right, and practical. But there's more CG in those than there are in here. There is CG in this movie.
Is there?
Most of it is because for most parts, they had only like one or two dudes who were the cultists. So they had to CG a bunch of them in or some shit like that. So the CG is subtle or to fix certain things that didn't quite work right. But like, it's the majority of it is like probably 98% practical, 95, 92% practical, right?
Yeah. Like the void stuff is CG, obviously.
Yeah, right. But it's that stuff is incredibly well done. Like, I would love, and I'm not saying that they're not good directors. I just don't think the writing is their strong suit. Like I would love to see something from them. And I know I think at least one of them did Psycho Gorman, and there's other movies they have done before that I hear I've heard about them before. Manborg, I think, is one of them. But like, and it's just apparently ridiculously dumb and cheesy and low budget. But this is low budget too, right?
I was wondering what the budget was.
You can't find the budget, but it was crowdfunded. Really? There were some like when it says it's from the producer of The Witch, it's because that was like one of the guys that threw in some money, right? It made less. It made like 150K box office wise.
Wow.
It's a Canadian production. It did go to like 30 theaters, I think, or something like that. So it did not have a wide release. It did not have a marketing campaign. This is a movie, though, like those special effects are fucking legendary, man.
Right.
And there are movies that suck that we all love because they're like the legendary status of those special effects. But even those ones, I mean, there wasn't much for me to sink my teeth into in this movie except for just the look of it and the concept. But it was just a lack of character in this film to me. And it just like, that's one of the number one things for me about, I want a good story. I want characters, and then add in all the bells and whistles. This was all bells and whistles and no meat. It was all peas and carrots, but no roast beast.
I get what hip hop's saying. My fiance even said that because, like I said, I went to bed halfway through it the first time that I watched it. Then I finished it, and then I watched it all over again. And she said the same thing. She's like, it's a different movie the second half. But that's kind of part of what I appreciate about it is that it keeps changing. It keeps you on your toes about what the hell is going on and where the movie's going. It's never predictable for sure.
Yeah, I hate that they got rid of those freaking practical effects with the CGI on that thing prequel.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Sucks, man.
Because that's a good story, too. Like, I really like that thing prequel.
Yeah, I know.
Weird marketing behind it, though.
Just the effects.
It's a requel. It's one of those first requels, probably, right?
Yeah. And you would think that they couldn't do much with that, too, but it works, man. And the CGI was terrible, man.
It's a pre-requel.
It's so cringy.
I felt like they didn't, in the prequel to the thing, they didn't lean into the whole what made the thing so cool. That was my favorite aspect of it is you don't know who's got it, who is it, you know what I mean? And I felt like of course they did do some of that in the prequel, but not enough. They leaned more into the CGI monster aspect of it, which that's not the best part of the thing.
Correct.
What was the best part of this movie to you then?
The characters. No. The writing and the characters, I would say. No, definitely the special effects, but I'm telling you, like I do enjoy the characters. They all do have their super subtle ass story. Like each one of them has a backstory behind them. And I get also just like the surprisingness of it. Like it keeps shocking you throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
The pace is good too. The length, it's not too long. The pace is strong. The atmosphere. And I'm telling you, I'll just repeat again. I thought the music added a shitload to it. But I listened to it or I watched it for the first time with with my headphones on, so that you're always feeling the music 10 times more when that's the case.
That's what I want. I want to get surround sound, man.
The music's pretty solid, I think, for the most part. It just, I don't know. I think it could have had I think it could have had a little bit of a synthwave flair. Put in a little punchy jokes in there. But I applaud this film. My favorite thing is the special effects. But about the special effects is that they didn't spare any expense when it came to that. They did not compromise their vision for practical effects, and they did not hold back on how outlandishly gory some of those effects were. You don't see many modern movies that do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool.
Let me ask a question that's going to make me seem kind of dumb. Yeah, I'm always hearing this is Lovecraftian, right? And this is what you hear about this film and any other thing with a monster. And I know, like, as far as I know, there's like Lovecraft books, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is the source, like Lovecraft stuff? Was there art because I've never read any of it. I've just read things that were inspired by it. Like, was there pictures along with
Lovecraft,
it? Right.
It would be, he would do a lot. Robbie might know more than me. I know a lot of his movies, but I know he would probably have like Cthulhu is a big one. I know.
So he did make movies. He wasn't just a writer.
No,
he's a writer.
He was a writer. They would just do a lot of his stuff has created so many movies. He would do short stories. He's probably had some novelizations.
It was back in those pulp days. So we did a lot of short stories throughout, like pulp magazines and things like that. They would later be collected,
right? Like the Conan creator, like how he did a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Short
you can get the complete Lovecraft in a big thick volume.
Is there like Amazon. Pictures? There's the illustrations that go along with it because it's so much of a visual thing where you always hear. That's what I was curious about.
So H.P. Lovecraft was like a writer, I think, in the 19-teens and 20s or something. Was his most prolific period. People latched onto his work, and there's been a lot of people that have developed out into what they call the Cthulhu mythos, right? Because there was this almost like a shared universe that started with other writers coming in and adding to it, and then artists would come in and they would be illustrated editions of these things. The thing about Lovecraft that stands out is, first of all, he's not a good writer. Okay. Like, honestly, his use of language, the way he plots things out, the structure, it's not the best. It's the concepts, it's the idea. So this movie is truly Lovecraftian. But what also that means, in the most part, is that he liked to go into the idea that in the deep cosmos, there are other beings that exist, like older ancient beings that have been slumbering for thousands and thousands of years. Their time scale is on millions or billions of years. We're a speck in the dust where they're concerned. And sometimes people try to breach through scientific method, like breach through dimensions or breach into space or pierce the unknown. And what is the unknown is something out there in the universe, which H.P. Lovecraft was a very fearful, xenophobic, racist, like enclosed, sheltered person. And
fear of the unknown kind of guy.
He was scared of everything, right? So like the idea is that what is out there is not something wondrous. It's something fucking scary. It's something deeper than what we can understand. And it's larger than us, and it doesn't give a fuck about us. And that's why I would have loved them to lean more into the doctor. Yo, you made a mistake. Like in Hellraiser, you find out Frank finds out quickly he made a fucking mistake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
You don't really get that in this film. But
I mean, just the way you explain that.
And it brings madness about in people. And the cults rise up, like the Cthulhu. There's this whole mythology, these elder gods, these ancient ones. Cthulhu's one of many. They all have these cults that rise up around them and shit like that. So really interesting stuff to get into. I would recommend getting the Amazon, get on Amazon or something. I got a really nice one. It's you can get all of his stuff and just reading them a little bit here and there. Some of them's really good. I would say definitely The Hound is a great place to start.
Okay.
As far as reading.
They're more short stories than like full novels, right?
A lot of them are short, some novellas,
okay.
Like Reanimator is a series of short stories that tells like a periodical thing where like it has chapters that keep developing the story further and further and further. And some of the most of the Lovecraftian adaptations have not been very good cinematically. There have been some that I hear are really good. There's a German film called Die Farbe, which is the color out of space. I hear the new one with Nicolas Cage of that. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like Stuart Gordon does good ones with From Beyond and Reanimator.
I literally just grabbed these because I was going to be like, Verno, you need to watch this.
All right.
You need to watch Dagon. These are all Stuart Gordon. This is my favorite, From Beyond.
We're doing that one for March Madness on PCP Movie Night. You should.
Nice. Oh, absolutely, dude. I'm down.
This is incredible. This is more of that Cthulhu kind of thing, but not And then obviously the classic Reanimator, which I love. Bride of Reanimator.
Dude, I hear you guys say Reanimator all the time. I think Jelani told me to watch it when I talked with him. It's on Tubi, and I still haven't watched it yet.
Bro, we did five you digs across the board when we reviewed that
all
one.
day.
Really? Is it Cronenberg?
No, it's Stuart Gordon.
Stuart Gordon, baby. And then
did all three of those films. Man.
I'm telling, like, me and Robbie weren't sure about Dagon, and I think we gave this 5 you digs too because it blew us away. Like,
awesome.
We were
rewatching that was a treat, man.
This is just a treat as well because it's like the same cast of Reanimator. Watch Reanimator first and then watch From Beyond.
Gotcha.
Because this is like they switch roles. Like, so the one guy in Reanimator is like the evil doctor, and then in From Beyond, the girl is the evil doctor. Like, it's fucking awesome.
One thing that Gordon does for the Lovecraft things, though, is he adds humor and he makes it feel modern, and he adds a very quick pace and kind of like a light touch to some of this, like to Reanimator. Dagon and From Beyond are a little bit more serious, but there's still a little bit more of a different approach to it.
It's a fucking $150 Blu-ray you're holding up there, Dylan.
Yep,
at least
I got one too.
On Amazon. Good Lord.
Oh, this sucker was expensive.
If only we had the slip, though. Neither of us had the slip.
If only I had 2 of these suckers, man. I would like it.
Yeah. Dolls is another one of his films. I don't have the Scream Factory of that. Baby. That's gotten expensive too.
Dude, I got that one in a freaking slip cut. Well,
I got like a Spanish version of it or some shit.
I don't. This one I have like in a plastic protectant because like when I was moving some of my stuff, I spilled a fucking drink and a couple like Slumber Party Massacre, like the paper got ruined. Urban Legend got ruined, and I had to dry them out. I still got them out here, bro. And a couple of them like kind of like got a little sticky, and it kills me because some of them are just like, look at Slumber Party now. I don't know if you can really tell.
You can still get that for like $12. So
yeah. This one is worth.
It's not like it was the 2 and 3 double feature. That would be like terrible,
dude. Actually,
that's an expensive ass fucking one too, though.
My double feature.
I just watched that not long ago. That Dolls.
Yeah, that's Stuart Gordon. That's the guy that we were talking about.
I love it. This is probably my favorite Stuart Gordon.
He made that on the same set as From Beyond.
This is probably my favorite Stuart Gordon.
Really, Dolls?
Dude, I just like the fairy tale aspect of it. I don't know, man.
It's a great film. Oh, I would have to go Reanimator though.
I know, man. It's tough, dude. It would maybe be like a 3-way tie between Reanimator, From Beyond, and Dolls.
Dude, but don't forget, what was that fucking movie with Mina Savari? What was that movie called? No, the one that we watched where she fucking hits the guy.
Dude, yes.
What the fuck was the name of that movie?
Oh my god, I love that one
with Mina Savari. That movie is great.
Dude,
it's so wild.
The girl from Invisible Man. That's her name, right? What was it? I got
Mina Savari. She's in there. What the fuck?
She turned me on that one, bro. I was like, I never thought she was hot, and
she was so fucking hot in that movie, man.
Oh my god. That was like one of his last movies too.
Yes, it was his last movie. Stuck. Jesus.
Yeah. Because he was stuck in the window.
So this chick, she's like driving home one night. She's like tripping on X. She's like been drinking. She's been partying. She runs over this fucking dude who's like his first night as a homeless guy. Like this guy just lost everything. And this is his first night on the street. She runs his ass over. He like gets in, like stuck in her fucking windshield and he's dying. So she just goes home and fucking like calls her boyfriend. He shows up and they just wind up fucking, like doing drugs and fucking. And she thinks he's dead, but he's not. So then it like becomes this whole thing where it gets out of hand. He's making noise, honking the horn. She's got to stop it. Bruh, you got to watch Stuck.
Let's say it sounds like the plot of a lot of Pornhub videos these days.
Yeah,
I got my hands stuck in the washing machine. It's like, oh, step bro.
What do you know about that?
Hey, they're out there, man.
Dead at first. Dude, you have to watch that movie. Like, dude, start with Reanimator first, and then
right. I will, dude. I might fucking watch that bad boy tonight. No kidding, because I'm pretty sure it's on Tubi.
It is. It might even be on Amazon Prime.
I think it was on Prime.
Start with Reanimator, then do From Beyond. You already saw Dolls, so you don't even need to see that again. But I love this. Is probably like besides Child's Play, I love Puppet Master too, but Dolls is like my fucking favorite because Charles Band had produced this too.
To even mess you up even more, Stuart Gordon is also the writer and creator of the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids franchise.
Really?
And he is like he I mean, he did so many H.P. Lovecraft like adaptations, or like, well, he would like take something.
He did those 3 movies, and then he did in Masters of Horror. He does Dreams at the Witch House, which is one of my favorite H.P. Lovecraft adaptations.
Dude,
it's amazing. All that shit's on Tubi, right?
We can't talk about The Void without talking about Stuart Gordon. So if we've gone off topic, sorry, but like you got it. They're like, it is an H.P. Lovecraft. Like, look at that.
Well, dude, this movie had some of that Stuart Gordon, Brian Usna like flair to it.
Yeah,
dude, this movie would have been a 5 you digger.
Your explanation of like, H.P. Lovecraft and just in general, if you were describing this movie, you know what I mean? There's so much of that beyond and other realms and deep, dark craziness. Yeah, I mean, I totally get the comparison.
Hold on 1 second. I think I gotta let the dog out. I hear him whining.
Yeah, it does. This one takes it into the more serious approach that Lovecraft does. Lovecraft movies are not goofy and funny.
No,
or Lovecraft, my bad. Lovecraft stories are not goofy and funny. The movies sometimes are. And Stuart Gordon does that. Stuart Gordon does that very well with Reanimator. From Beyond's a little bit more serious, but it's also very like titillating at the same time. And then Dagon is kind of like a really sad movie and really fucked up, and also makes you feel horny in uncertain ways.
Perfect story of my life.
Hell yeah, man. So the Void is very Lovecraftian. It's Lovecraftian. It's Fulcian. It's Carpenter-esque. It's Barker-esque. It's got those influences, and it's doing them proud. It's the only thing, Verno. I dig everything you're saying about the subtlety of some of the things and the nuance of things. But they could have, I think, just developed like. It's in the dialogue of the characters, the way they relate to one another. They're immediately all the way turned up to 11 on all of their internal conflicts with each other. That like, it doesn't give me a chance to ease me into who these people are and why they have these conflicts.
There's also weird stuff like the father, he's coming in, he's got a gun. There's a sheriff pointing a gun at him. It's like, just fucking kill that guy. Like, why is the Daniel character so submissive to the father character when he's the one with the gun at times? At one point he's like, no, I'm sure you could beat me up. So there's weird character stuff, but it's like the guy's not a super cop. He's just a cop. He's not like a movie cop. He's just a regular cop that has real weaknesses at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if I tinker with it a little bit, like maybe introduce the father-son guys at the beginning of Act 2, right? Like let them introduce them in that cold open or whatever, right?
They wanted that thing. You know what I mean? They wanted that. Like, what the hell's going on here? Like, I mean, I was like, that was something I thought was cool about it, because you think they're the villains at the beginning. They're burning this woman alive, just like the people on the helicopter chasing the dog and shooting at the dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're the heroes. So I assume that's what they were going with. But then as soon as they show up, I said to my fiance, I'm like, I think these might be the heroes. They're just weird heroes. They're non-traditional heroes.
Yeah, it's just a weird kind of, it throws out any kind of development on these people at this hospital. Right? They try to develop it, and they hint at backstory, but they don't really fully develop it. Now I get that there's a subtlety to it, and I don't always want everything force-fed and spoon-fed to me, right? But like on this one, it just, before I even had a chance to like any of these characters at this hospital, these fucking two guys show up and it throws everything into this weird situation where, okay, I don't know what kind of movie we're on right now. And these people are acting like they've known each other for a while almost. And they have serious beef. Like they all come so intense at each other at first.
Right.
And it doesn't like, and they're so distrustful. And even when they eventually earn that trust, it doesn't feel like we know these people, so there's no connection to me. That's I felt like that. I didn't feel connected to any of the characters,
right?
And everything else was fine, but that's got to me. That's core. Like I gotta care about these characters, like from the get go. And I watched it sober, so it wasn't like I drank too much or something like.
Right.
So like me and Jamie, we were both like. We kind of have the same thoughts. I think she's harsher on the film than me, actually. Damn, she loves everything. She gave Small Soldiers 5 you digs. We watched Diamonds Are Forever last night, and she was like, 5 you digs. I was like, 5?
Well, that's kind of the way my fiance is, where she loves everything. Like she walked out of Scream. We went and saw it twice, and she gave it 5 you digs and 5 you digs. So like, you know what I mean? And especially if I tell her, I could even trick her into liking something or not liking something by telling her I don't like it. Then she's guaranteed to like it, and vice versa.
Really?
You know what I mean?
I might be like that with Robbie too. Damn, I was pissed the dog was going nuts because I wanted to freaking keep talking. I love talking about Stuart Gordon. We did a whole like spotlight on him when I first started doing the horror show. So once you go down your rabbit hole,
right?
Check that video.
Well, that's what I'm doing. Remember, we did the hell was that movie? It was the Stephen King adaptation done by Cronenberg, Christopher Walken. The fuck is that movie called?
The Dead Zone. When I got sick.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I'd ever done your show.
It was, and I felt so bad.
No, it was all good. I mean, look where we're at now. But you guys are talking about Cronenberg, and I'm just sitting here like, I don't fucking know who Cronenberg. There's so many names like that that I'm playing catch up on all these things. So I'm looking for like names like Cronenberg. Like since then, I've watched a bunch of his movies. So like Stuart Gordon, like I'll go down that rabbit hole now, and you know what I mean, get a feel for that. It's just all these names that you hear referenced all the time, that you guys reference all the time. That's what I'm trying to do, is like catch up on that shit.
Like when you're just like a casual, like even if you're a huge movie fan, not everybody like there. It's actors and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, or it's not always the directors people are looking at. Like everyone's different. There are people who literally know all the songs, and like when they have like music, they're like, dude, one of my favorite bands does like a lot of the music in this movie. Like everybody has their own thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I wasn't always that way either, where I was like crazy. Like as I got older and like, I started like, I really like, and then I'd look and I'd be like, holy shit, fucking Joe Dante, did Small Soldiers, and he did The Howling, and he did like Piranha. You know what I mean? It's like, so then you'll be like, it would be, or like Steve Miner, who when we direct, because I loved House growing up, and I was like, holy shit, dude, Steve Miner directed freaking Lake Placid too. I loved that movie growing up. And then House, and then oh my God, he did Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3. Like there's just so many where you're just like, holy shit, So then you kind of go down a rabbit hole with that, where you know what I mean, where you're like, dude, I gotta see everything that he directed, and then you just you get enchanted by like everything that these guys, like Wes Craven, man, like freaking. That's the thing. Like me and Robbie, I like we'll be like, we just completed our John Carpenter collection. I still got a couple to go, but he just did a couple of months ago. And then we'll try and get all of Wes Craven's movies, all of Tobe Hooper's movies, just because it's like we're a fan of like their work. It's like these guys created some of the most iconic, horror movies of the 80s. Like Tobe Hooper created Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Wes Craven created Freddy and Ghostface. Yeah, he obviously
that's
he didn't
why
do the math,
I love Funhouse. God damn it.
And the Funhouse. Hell yeah, dude.
Well, it's the same. Like even like I've heard a bunch of people say this too. Like I read a bunch of comic books, pretty casually, but I liked comic books for a long time, and I never thought about the creators. That's kind of like it's just like a different level of getting into things. You can do the same thing with music. Like it'll just it'll turn one day and you start to like pick apart instruments and hi-hats and just different stuff. Like there's levels to all art forms where you can get more into it and look at it from a different angle.
Like you'll just know the singer a lot of times or the main guitar, but then you're like, well, there's also like a drummer and a bass player or a piano player. Like there's always,
we all have those bands that we know the name of every fucking member.
Exactly. But yeah, man, dude, it's fun, man, because I like, there was like certain directors I knew, like Quentin Tarantino, but it took me a while to get into like the horror directors as well. Like growing up, I've been watching horror movies since I was literally like 3 years old, probably even before, man. The first horror movie I went to was H2O, and I literally skipped preschool. My parents were trying to go see the movie while I was supposed to go to preschool during the day, and they're like, "We're gonna, go see H2O during the day." I found out somehow. I heard them talking about. I'm like, and I freaked out. I was like, "I'm good," because I loved Michael Myers.
That movie came out the summer before my senior year of high school.
and I always, isn't that crazy? But dude, I can't believe you're like I mean, to me, you're like my age. Like, I don't ever see no age difference, I don't know,
I'm a man.
I wouldn't and I'm not just saying like just because you're young at heart, but I honestly think like
you've got an old soul, Dylan. You seem older than you are. I think it's a lot of what it is. You're into fucking 8. What are you, like 27, 29?
27.
Yeah, that's weird as hell that you're, you know what I mean? Most of your favorite movies are from the 80s.
Yeah. Honestly, man,
good background though, man.
I literally owe it all to my mother and my jiddu, who is what my father is Lebanese, so his father I called jiddu. And when I was little, man, like, cause when I'm the oldest of 7 kids, and when my parents weren't married yet when I was born, so they didn't get married till I was like 3, I think, so in the beginning, they were young, so that I would go, they were working. My dad was working 2 jobs at times. He was trying to go, just get life started, and try and get their opportunities in life. My mom's working too. So I would go back and forth to his house, my dad's house, to my mom's, and a lot of times I'd be stuck with my jiddu, and that stuck. I fucking loved it, man. And he had this chair, like, kind of like a lazy boy, recliner. He would sit in there and just watch TV. And I would just sit on his lap and we would watch scary movies all the time. I literally have the exact, like, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And this is the exact VHS that I watched with my jiddu growing up. And awesome. I'm pissed because when I was moving into my girls, I had a tub that had the Wolfman, because we would watch he was a huge Universal Monsters fan. Wolfman was his favorite, so obviously the Wolfman's my favorite. Frankenstein, Dracula, the classics, the freaking Abbott and Costello, Meet the Wolfman, Frankenstein. Like, that's what I watched, like, constantly. He was like a classics type, he didn't want the nudity. That was not for him. So that's where I got my love for, like, and that's the 60s, Then my mom grew up in it. She was like a 70s baby. So she grew up in the prime time of the 80s, So when I was little, man, she showed me like all these classics, and I would watch a lot of, like, she knew I loved horror movies. So she would, put on, she didn't like me to watch the nudity either. That's probably why I love it so much, because it was just, I gotta rebel, you know what I mean?
Not the only reason.
Boobies and butts, man. And
biology.
Who gives a shit?
Well, I am a man and I have my needs.
Well, I think that's one, like me and my fiance, we talk about having kids, and I'm like, well, I'll fucking let the kids watch anything, because I grew up, like, some of my first memories are Freddy and Jason, and I was scared shitless of them. Dr. Giggles, watching that with my mom when I was little. Yeah. We watched everything rated R, and hell, they even used to advertise rated R movies to kids. Terminator 2 was a rated R fucking movie for kids.
They had a goddamn animated series for RoboCop and Rambo.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It was a different era, and I don't know. I would definitely show my kids rated R movies. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing, but
it depends on the movie.
It's different now.
I'm not going to show them Eyes Wide Shut.
Right. Well, I mean, Jason and Freddy and like horror movies.
But I'll show them Full Metal Jacket and fuck them up, because I watched that movie when I was a fucking kid in the 80s, and it fucked me up. That was one of the most horrific movie experiences of my life. Was watching Full Metal Jacket when Vincent D'Onofrio kills himself and his sergeant, bro. God
Yeah,
damn.
I watched that young too, man.
Jesus.
Well, we didn't.
It was too real. Like monsters and vampires and shit. I knew that shit was fake. But like that was too real for me.
Oh my God.
I was like,
no, I get it. Yeah, I remember that.
I never want to join the military.
It's probably a good thing.
I never did.
Right.
Thank you, Stanley.
Yeah, man. That and back in my day when in the 90s,
we love and support our military though.
Hell yeah.
At Dylan's Horror Show. So station.
Definitely. Every time I see a veteran, I thank him. But yeah, dude, literally, like, you know, when I was growing up too, like VHS was like big. So like, and then cable, like, so every time, like every Friday and Saturday, I was like recording every horror movie that was coming on. And you know what I'm saying? Because my mom would only let me watch so much, like, from the video store, because she was the type, she's like, I wish they had like censored versions, you know. She just did not want me to see the kills. I don't think she cared about, because we weren't at the Hostel phase yet. Once Saw and Hostel came out, she like never wanted me to watch those, and I like would sneak over my buddy's house, and when we'd sleep over his dad's, and his dad let him watch all that shit, so I would watch like Saw 1 to 3 every weekend. I slept over his house. And yeah, bro, I would just literally videotape so many horror movies. And like, I literally was the Poltergeist kid, and my mom walked in on me, pitch black room, and I'm just sitting in front of the TV watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Hands up to the TV.
Yeah.
You remember taking tape and putting it over the VHS so that you could tape over things?
Tape over it? Yes.
Yeah.
I just, we were very fortunate to be from that last generation that had like rental stores, you know, like Blockbusters, but more than that, like mom and pop video stores had the best fucking horror sections. And those were the ones that my mom and my stepdad went to. They were avid movie lovers. They watched VHSs every night. It was always family movie night. And then the kids would go to bed. I was the oldest, so I was able to stay up and watch Basic Instinct. Ooh. And fucking Nightmare on Elm Street whatever the fuck it was, you know. I was able to watch those movies, and just had an avid love for them. And I think it was part of it, going to comic shops, going to toy stores, going to video stores, and seeing them all spread out. What are we all doing with our collections? We're recreating the experience of going to the toy store, the comic store, the video store, man. Yeah.
For me, in my town, like, the hangout for kids was the video store. Yeah. We had an arcade there. It had Mortal Kombat, and that's like where kids hung out, was at and it was literally called the video store. So that was like my home when I was a kid. It was the shit. Yeah, the first time I ever kissed a girl was at the video store.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, for real.
You had like a Stranger Things like arcade, but you also connected to a video store.
It was cool. There was a little soda shop next to it with a little bar. I'd go in there, and I didn't have any money, so they would just give me jalapenos, a little cup of jalapenos that I would eat for free all the time. It was the shit. That was like my favorite place in the world as a kid, for sure.
That would have been my favorite place.
It's like the skating rink for me, but way cooler.
Yeah, that's sick, bro. Yeah, I love, bro, like, just going to the video store and just literally, because I always say too, like, when you rented a video, it's not like, that's where I get like, you know, some people will be like, man, how can you watch that movie over and over again? That's just how I grew up, man, because when I go rent a movie, I'd pick, you know, like, they had the 2 for $1 section, like, of the older movies. So I'd get like one old horror movie, sometimes 2 horror movies, like, and a comedy, and then I'd get a new movie. Or say, like, I'd get one new horror movie, an old horror movie, and a comedy, you know what I mean? And I'd have to watch that movie all week long, you know what I'm saying? Those 3. So I would try, you would always want to get, like, you'd be like, man, I want to make sure I get something good. And not always you would, but, you know, a lot of times, you know, I would rent the same thing over and over again. Or if you'd be like, damn, they don't have freaking Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 or Part 3, because Part 3 was always so hard to find, or the original. You're like, you guys got it yet? And luckily they'd be like, someone just dropped it off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you just gotta rewind.
This guy's got it. You could reserve it. Yeah, that was a different time. Well, I went through, like, I think a lot of people do that. Like, when we were kids, we all watched things over and over and over again. I got nieces, and they watched things over and over again.
Yeah.
And then, like, through my 20s, I didn't. It was like, if I've seen it once, I'm good on it. And I remember for years not watching stuff over. And then like when I turned 30, I went back to that where now I will watch things over and over again.
There's definitely things that I can where I'm like, I watch it once and I'm like, I'll never watch that again. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then there's things where I'll watch once and I'll come back to it a couple years later, you know, and I'll be like, damn, that's a lot better than I thought. But then there's just stuff where I literally just fall in love, like, you know, like Halloween Kills. Like, I maybe didn't think the story was incredible, but I just thought Michael Myers was so fucking badass, where I was just so encapsulated, where I was like, this is everything I've always wanted. Because, you know, I love the original. I love the second one. But as we've gotten older, you know, you want a little bit more grime and dirt and, you know, just the ruthlessness, especially once we got the Rob Zombie ones, where that motherfucker was just going in on him, especially Halloween 2, and he's just stabbing that. But what's her name? She plays Ma, though, in that movie Ma.
I don't know her name.
I can't remember her name, but you guys, but he's just going, he's just over, and just the ruthlessness, man. That's what I loved about Scream 5, because I was like, Ghostface is fucking ruthless in this one. You know what I mean? Like, ganking the sheriff in broad daylight. You know what I mean? Like, whew.
I'll be right back.
But that's so awesome that we just like he's gonna go down an awesome Stuart Gordon.
Good,
rampage.
Rightly so.
I love it.
Rightly so. He should.
Dude, I still gotta watch The Kindred, man. I don't know what I've been doing, man.
Yeah, I still haven't jumped on that.
Yeah. I gotta watch it so I can tell you if it's really worth it or not. Most people have said that it was freaking awesome, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you know how that goes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's something I want to check out for sure. So
yeah, because the one guy, that's how I heard about The Void, is the guy who told me about The Kindred, and I usually am pretty good, and he said he really liked it, and I really liked it too, honestly, man. It's not a 5 out of 5, but I really liked it, man. For a 2016 movie, I thought, I can't believe it got past me. And then hearing that it was like Indiegogo'd,
yeah,
that's pretty cool, man.
Well, when Verno gets back, we should do the ratings.
Yeah, we will. I'm trying to think, because he kind of went over like what it means. Is there anything you wanted to touch on? What you think The Void means?
No, he's exactly right. There's so many people in this movie that have lost not only loved ones, but like they have lost children.
Yeah.
Right? The doctor, there's the pregnant woman that for the most part in the movie, we think that she may lose her children. So they're trying to tease us into that aspect. They're trying to bring us in thematically. Everybody's tied in. The lady that had the miscarriage with the state trooper, the father and son, he lost his wife and his daughter. So people had lost children in this movie. That is, and like Verno pointed out, that is the main point. Is that it's not only the void that you have inside when you lose something or lose someone, but when you lose a child. Like almost everybody in this movie at some point had lost a child. So that's what they're trying to get to, and they're trying to physically represent that with what's coming from the void and what it creates. And I get that. I get what it's trying to do. So, but to me, that's thematically what it's about. I think Verno is right on the nose.
It's my fiance, really. I didn't pick it up that all of them had lost children. Like
I didn't either. I just thought the doctor and the mother and they're the nurse and the cop.
Well, it's the doctor, it's the nurse and the state trooper, it's the father of the father and son duo, you know. So, and then there's the threat to the audience in at least the first act to the second act of the woman who's pregnant who might lose her child.
Right. I didn't connect that. They also say that I mean, this isn't necessarily in line with that, but they say that the state trooper, Daniel, the main character, his kid died because of that doctor's experiments, and his dad died because of that, because he was friends with him or whatever. They stayed at the end, like your child and your father both were sacrificed.
Yeah, but they build up this father-son relationship that doesn't exist in this movie. That's supposed to be part of their story and their connection. And that's just one of those things where in the script, it doesn't work for me.
Maybe if they had a budget, there'd be a flashback or something that gives some context.
I really feel like this movie was held back, and they didn't want to compromise the vision for the special effects, and so they were just like, "How lean can we make this script?"
Right.
Or how lean can we shoot the script?
That's why they've got the guys in the sheets, I'm sure. It's like, what's the cheapest way that we can make this cult look cool?
Yeah.
Like, how about
especially when you find out they only had like 1 or 2 of them.
Right.
Do you think they could have made the leap between science and magic in this movie link more coherently, or is that a lost cause? I enjoyed all the imagery, but I felt the twist came out of nowhere.
It did, I think, because they don't lean into the cult idea at first, man. Like at first you think you're in, like at first I thought it was an infection movie. Hospital setting.
Yeah.
People all of a sudden having shit growing out of their eyeballs. Like, what the fuck's going on here? They're infecting each other. What's going on, right? And then you find out that it's not. So it was, I think it had too many influences, that it was trying to like nod too much. Like, it's uneven, it's unbalanced, but goddamn, those practical effects are fucking awesome, man.
Right.
They were, man.
But I understand the nuance too that Verno's. I'm not trying to shit on what Verno thinks about.
No, I feel you, dude. 100%. I agree with everything that you've said. For sure. That's why I like doing this.
I agree with everything you've said.
But hey, what he says, does it ruin your thoughts on the movie at all, or take a notch down from your rating?
No, honestly,
it doesn't change anything for me either.
No, because I get that. Like, that was where my complaints going in. But like, you know what I mean? Like we've all been praising these practical effects. To me, it was enough to be like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm more judging it based on that, and like the whole keeping me guessing, keeping me on the edge of like, what the hell's going on?
I thought, dude, the music was freaking awesome too. I really liked the music. I like the entire atmosphere of the movie. Like when they're in hell, it can be a little dark at times, but I thought I really did like it, man. It leans into a lot of the stuff I like. I can see what you mean, where it's like they're taken from just so much that maybe they just kind of lost control a little bit. But I honestly feel like if they had more money, and if maybe that investor didn't pull out, they might have been able to do a little bit more with the character. Like all they need is like one more scene with each character that was really important to give it a little bit more growth. For you know what I mean? They don't need. It's not like they need a shit ton. And who knows, man? Maybe that's why I'd like to get the Blu-ray to see if maybe there's behind the scenes, if there's deleted scenes, maybe just see if see if there was stuff they had to cut, or if they just were, you get a director's outlook and see if they're like, well, we had planned to do this, we had this in the script, but we ran out of time, or we ran out of money, or you know what I mean, and we just thought it wouldn't work.
Was that chick in this movie Knives Chow from Scott Pilgrim? Like the nurse trainee or whatever?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up.
She's who I was just thinking of, because I liked her, but she, like, there was no character. Like, you're right. If they just added one more scene and gave her an arc, that adds a lot more to it. If she overcame something by the end, then like,
and they almost had it when she had to like take control, but that was superseded by a twist.
Yep, that's right.
Like, that's good eye, hip hop. Also, hip hop said it was the best Resident Evil movie thus far. It had those vibes, 100%. I mentioned it kind of felt like a video game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then hip hop happens, says, "What's up with the pyramid?" Well, that's Leviathan from Hellraiser, right? That's the reference to that, I think.
Yeah. The
pyramids represent mystery.
Did you see the new Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City?
No, not yet.
Speaking of just video game, me either.
Let's get into the rating before we get off topic again.
Just watch that Fable. I used to watch all the time when I was a kid. But
have you seen Mouth of Madness? That's a John Carpenter Lovecraftian. All right, so we'll get into the rating. Anyone who has watched The Void, if you guys want to throw your rating down below out of 1 to 5, you digs, or 1 to 5 slip covers, you know how we do up in here. Berno, my man, what are we thinking on this tonight? And, hey, man, let's get a rating from the wife while we're at it, because she gave us dude. I want to almost get your wife in here, bro. I'm loving like what her inside,
right?
Bro.
That's why I like watching shit with her. I'm telling you, like it helps. It definitely helps,
dude. I always feel like I'm so bad with like what stuff means or what it's trying to say. Robbie knows I always like kind of freeze up when it comes to me, and I just steal off everybody.
Well, that's what I like this, because it's practice for that. Like thinking about knowing that that's going to be the question. It makes it a little easier to pick out themes and stuff. But I'm going all the way, man. I've held back a lot. I'm going 4-5 on what it is. I know that's pretty high. That's higher than I gave Exorcist 3. That's best psychological thriller of the 90s.
You know it, my friends. By the way, I got a YouTube comment the other day said, best psychological thriller of the 90s, subscribed.
Hell yeah.
Awesome,
Hell yeah.
But yeah, all the reasons I said, it's obviously has its flaws. I highly recommend a second watch through. Not that I think, Robbie, that you didn't understand anything about it, but I think you might enjoy it more on a second watch through because of the subtlety of the characters and especially the father and the son and the reason why they come in on Act 3 already. I think it's built in the film and it's supposed to be like that. So yeah, I'll go all the way, man. Those practical, 3.75 of that is the practical effects.
Yeah,
I just thought it was so good in that department that 4-5.
I think also if he can watch it a second time and not deal with commercials, I think it would help a lot more too. I feel like that also could maybe can kind of ruin the pacing. I don't know what you thought about the pacing, but sometimes I feel like commercials can kind of ruin that and just take you out of it for a second. You know what I mean? And then you kind of got to reinsert yourself back into it. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. Robbie, though, my brother, what are we thinking on this?
So I don't like the story, really. I don't really, as far as the characters go, I'm unattached. That way, we talked about the special effects, all that jazz. Having had this chat tonight has made me bump it up by a half of a you dig. So I'm going to give it 3 you digs. I think it's okay. It's worth watching without commercials. Maybe it's worth watching a second time for me, but I don't think there's much there as far as characterization goes. You're not going to get compelling character arcs or any kind of interest there or care to me. But for what the budget was, for how hard it was to make this movie, I imagine it's a testament that you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have computers necessarily to make a really good, gory, fun, gnarly. And we need more of these, and we need more things that are trying to go cerebral. I applaud them for trying to go cerebral or go subtle. And maybe if they would have just hired a writer, maybe if they had the budget to do that, hire somebody to come in and polish the script up, just tighten it up a little bit, make things work a little bit better. But I think you should watch it.
Yeah.
I think it's all right. I'll give it 3 out of 5.
3.5 or 3 out of 5?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5, I would say.
I'll say, before you give your score, Dylan, I do think, because I was thinking about that is about the sway factor that this show can do. Is a 0.5. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've noticed that. That's the way, as much as it should swing somebody, a conversation about something.
Yeah.
Definitely. I like
But I was set for 2.5.
Oh, really?
Off the bat, yeah.
You guys remember the mom and pop, the porn section always blocked off.
Sneaking into it, yes.
Yeah.
That's where that kiss was.
I'm in between a pimp and a hard place. Right after next reference. I'd say I'm in 4 or 4 or 5 without a doubt for me. I'm thinking a 4. I think a 4. Just because even when I did watch it, I just felt, man, I don't know because I give the freaking practical effects like a 4. You know what I mean? But the music.
I'd give the practical effects.
You know what? I'm going with Verno on this, man. 4 or 5, bro.
God damn, you guys swayed the 0.5 up. Jesus Christ.
Dude, this was an Indiegogo. I gotta represent my man, my dudes who are fans of the. That's what I love, man. That's why I love Rob Zombie so much, because he's a fan, bro, and he's doing his dream of making horror movies, and that's what these guys are doing, I'm not saying if I went and watched Father's Day, I'd love it, but this one, man, just has so many cool influences, and just it feels like a love letter to the Stuart Gordon stuff, the Clive Barker stuff, the Lovecraftian stuff. And honestly, if we got the character development, I would have given it a 5 all day. It would be perfect. The music is I really like the music, man, too. That's another thing. That's why I was saying the character growth was making me sway from 4 to 4 or 5. But it doesn't bother me that much. Some of the stuff being left open a little bit, like like the doctor just kind of going through the hole, and then we get nothing with him. In ways, I almost wish it did get a sequel, but I don't, because I think it's great to be left open. Because I like when you can sit and just talk about a movie and wonder, kind of, that's what generates us to talk the way we do, because it's just the way it's left open. Everything doesn't have to be answered, and that was why a big reason I thought Robbie would really dig into this one. But Robbie always makes great points. I never. Once in a blue moon, if he shits on a movie, I might say, like, you are fucking crazy. But I do, for the most part, I usually understand where he's coming from, and I try. But I don't want, sometimes they'll open my mind to something, but
you don't have to apologize for me, Dylan, or yourself. I respect y'all and your opinions, okay?
Yeah, no, I was just, because I remember last week, Verno was like, did, anything that I think it was last week, but one time he was like, did anything he just said, kind of ruin your rating on it? And I'm like, no, because it's like, I'm going to always think what I think. I can agree on it, or I can understand what Robbie's trying to say.
Yeah.
But it's like, we all feel the way we do. And that's what I love about the show, man, is that, we are, even when me and Robbie and Verno were like, The Exorcist 3 is incredible, and Steph and Fable just didn't.
Well, first of all, about that, they're wrong. That's just a fucking fact. They're wrong about that, okay?
You hear that, Fable? You're
sometimes we get swayed. Verno mentioned that half of you dig. Sometimes you get swayed a half a point. Sometimes you get swayed up, sometimes down.
I'm kind of on, I feel like on The Exorcist 3 review, you were gonna give it a 4 or 5, but it was almost like a fuck you, Fable and Steph. 5. That's kind of where I'm at with my 4 or 5. It might deserve a 4, but I'm giving it a 4 or 5 to make up for your 3.
I did that. I thought about that a few times since I gave Exorcist 3 a
5. Yeah, it ain't a 5. It's a great movie, but it ain't.
It's a 4.69 though, my friend.
Yeah, yes, totally. It is. Yes, it is.
It is the greatest psychological thriller of the fucking 90s. I'm sorry. And they got me fired up. Sometimes that happens. Someone's talking shit about something when you're like, did you just watch the same fucking movie I watched, homie? I understand that, right? With Exorcist 3, I was like, y'all are just fucking wrong. Brad Dourif's performance in this fucking movie. Have you seen Exorcist 2? Jesus Christ. Exorcist 3 is a goddamn masterpiece compared to that. Jesus.
Yeah, I kind of do agree.
Too much love for Silence of the Lambs, in my opinion, too. I get tired of fucking hearing about it, man.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest psychological thriller of the 90s. 7's better. Okay, let's be honest.
Well,
Manhunter is better than Silence of the Lambs.
I knew it. I was waiting for you to say it, because I know you're huge Manhunter fan. I love Manhunter too. I love Silence of the Lambs too, but I'm not gonna sit there and rave about it. But it did open a lot of doors for horror fans, because when it won the awards that it did, people were like, they're like, this is fucking cool that, this, because it's a horror movie. It might be a psychological, it's a horror movie mixed with a psychological thriller. I do agree with Two Gun though. It does seem like maybe they cut the whole, maybe an intro of the movie out. I don't know about a first act. I guess maybe that would make sense. But the way it starts, I feel like I don't know, man. The beginning just kind of rushes right in.
Right, well, did you feel that way about The Thing? Because I feel like it's an exact copy of The Thing. They just replaced the dog with the girl that they light on fire.
Yeah, but I care about those characters. Those characters are intriguing. Immediately, they 100%. Have personality.
They're better.
Well, they're also they're cracking.
They put one of them on roller skates. That's all you needed to do, man.
Damn it!
Those guys are
if that doctor had been on roller skates.
Those guys are in the middle of nowhere, and they have nothing else but to fuck with each other and just scream. And you know what I mean? Those characters.
And there were moments of just ambiance in The Thing. There weren't moments like that here. How about this? How about a shot of just a stationary shot of a hallway with nothing there but the ominous music? Just more I don't know, depending on where you want to go. This movie felt like it wanted to go in 5 places. And so it half-assed stepping into each one.
I feel like that scene, or at least a scene with that quality, is the one I mentioned earlier, where Daniel kills his wife, and they don't do the sound effects of the chopping, and they just back off slowly.
Yeah,
down
but they
the
do
hall.
that for a climatic thing and not just the build-up, right?
Right.
So, like, I don't know, man. You could utilize the cultists more in that way. Show more exterior shots. Show more cultists. Show more, like, of this, whatever.
Let me just reel through, I wrote down all these moments that I thought were badass during the scene. Nurse Beverly stabs the guy in the fucking eye. We see her just removing the thing out. Like, that was badass. Dan, the cop, goes outside and first sees the guy with the sheet. He just says, hi. That whole scene where he gets stabbed with the guy in the sheet and runs back inside, that was sick as hell. Then we just see Beverly. She's on the ground, the nurse, and there's a spider like crawling out of her mouth.
Yeah.
That was fucking insane. Then they go back out to the car later on with the group now. That was really cool. Maggie kills Ben. The daughter kills her grandpa, and she's just got that crazy smile afterwards. Was crazy. Daniel chops the wife's head off. The reveal of the doctor and him looking like Frank was sick. And then I said it earlier, the daughter, after being resurrected, steps on the dude's head and it splats, and the guy headbutting the pipe. Like, that's a lot of dope moments in an hour and a half movie. And I didn't write down all of them. Like, there's a lot of moments. They never spread out more than like 10 minutes between having something that's like, wow. You know what I mean? That's a big factor.
Yeah. Think about this, man. Thursday night, Verno almost didn't watch this movie because of what I said. And now he's like the biggest fan of this fucking movie on the internet.
Right.
I'm so glad.
And I watched reviews. It's kind of like what happened last week with Scream for me. I watched people I trust. Chris Stuckman liked the movie.
Really?
But he said,
I was going to watch his review.
His review was like, I love this movie. Story's not so great. Character's not so great.
Right. And I agree.
And then Good Bad Flicks loved the movie, but kind of said, not a lot of character development.
Right.
Stitched Together Pictures, loved the movie. Not a lot of character development or story, really. And then, what is it? Bloodbath and Beyond. Yeah. They come up strong. Like when their review first starts, you're like, they're going to love this movie because they're like, oh, it's great. Like the special effects. And then all of a sudden they're like, but there's no story.
Yeah.
And there's no characters. So
I fucking love Bloodbath and Beyond.
So I felt kind of backed up today, but I need to get into it because Verno is seeing an aspect of this that is making me want to rewatch it. So I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Hell yeah.
That's awesome. The Two Gun gave it a 3.0 slips overall, but 4.5 for practical. Comic Book G Spot gave it a 4.
4 freaky squids.
Is that? I was wondering
what that is. 4 freaky squids.
3.
By the way, everything hip hop says 100% on me.
Best parts: imagery and aesthetic. Worst soundtrack and editing. Sense of tension. I think with a better OST, it could go up to 3.5. Oh, really? Yeah, I gotta re-listen to the soundtrack. I just really liked the calling. That was the best to me.
I'm telling you, man.
It's very subjective, evidently, because you know what I mean? Like last week, I was like, was there music in Scream? Like I didn't notice it in this. I just really felt it. I like prog rock. Like Tool's one of my favorite bands, and Rush, early proggy Pink Floyd. So that I felt all that Floyd stuff, too. Just that bass. Yeah. You know what I mean? There was a lot of that going on.
Yeah, music is always, it hits everyone different,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, that's why I'm so pumped for the Batman, especially when they gave that. Because am I tripping? There was a Pink Floyd song for one of the trailers. Unless I'm tripping.
I've just heard that Nirvana.
It was Nirvana.
Song.
It was Nirvana. Okay, I'm sorry then. Yeah, but what was the song that
everybody does that now in their trailers, and I'm getting fucking tired of it.
Yeah. It's usually like you mentioned that before. It's usually what would have been an upbeat song, then slowed down. Yeah. With this one, it's already a slow song. It's just more slowed down.
And the Batman theme, the new Batman theme, that's not funny.
You're crossing you dig depression.
Yeah.
Whatever. Your digs have never been more on point than in 2022, y'all.
I would have liked a little bit more of the Cultists too. Just because I thought there was going to be a little bit more of that, like an army of them suckers, and
there
you
was
the
the
army of
point
monsters,
while the Asian girl, the doctor Kim, she's about to deliver this baby. She's, hurry up! Psh, the glass goes. It's like, that was the front door, and that like added some extra, like, oh shit, the cultists are in the building, but they never went to that. They never did anything with it. They just implied that they were in the building.
Hip hop. I said that in the beginning of the review tonight. I said that they come into Act 2 like they're in Act 3 on a Romero zombie film.
And you talked about the doctor and the nurse being from Survival of the Dead, so there's that Romero connection, which I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
The lighting was good. I reiterated my distaste for the OST, though. The right composer can unnerve you with sound alone.
I thought it should have been more 80s sounding. But that's just me.
That makes sense.
Like more synthy. Like, I don't know. But that's just me. Like, imagine a Carpenter-esque score on this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bruh. Or the other influence, Hellraiser. That Christopher, what the fuck is his name? Anyway, that score on Hellraiser is amazing. Imagine a synthy version of that for this. Oh my goodness.
Hell yeah. Kirby gave it a 2.5 from
Christopher Young.
What they remember. I didn't get a chance to rewatch before the stream, but we'll do soon. Hell yeah, man. Well, next time you watch it, if your 2.5 changes, definitely let us know next week or whenever you get the chance.
I think it's worth rewatching.
Yeah. Especially if it's been a while, because I'm guessing, Kirby, you watched that maybe when it first came out or something. Third Batman trailer was a movie and all. I can't wait for the freaking Batman movie. So yeah, with me and Verno giving it a 4.5, Robbie giving it a 3. I'd say plus with everyone's rating down below with the 2.5 from Kirby, 3.5 from Hip Hop, 3.0 from Two Gun, 4 from Comic Book G Spot. I guess we get our average score of 4.69, dude. Woo! Yeah, man, I had a lot of fun with it, man. Like,
me too.
Hellraiser is one of my favorites. So like for them to try and like just do what they were doing, and like do Frank vibes when you see the doctor, like I just commend them for trying, you know what I mean? And for how good the practical effects are. Like sometimes I don't always need a crazy, incredible story. It would have been nice because this movie is so like the imagery can be so awesome, you know what I mean? That you just kind of want that, because it could be one of the greatest movies ever. Like The Thing is like one of my all-time favorites. Freaking Hellraiser. No, there's such great movies. And, when you see something like that, you're just like, man, you just take that. But with the money that they got to make, got to use, man, it's just, I do agree, because I didn't know that the directors also were the writers on it too. So if they could have got somebody in there to maybe freshen it up a little bit, or, because it does, like you said, it jumps in like The Thing, and then it kind of slows down for a second, and then it builds back up. You know what I mean? But I think it's a lot of fun, and it is one that I feel like you can pick up maybe new things on each watch. Every time I just keep thinking of like walking in and the doctor's just pulling them scissors right out of his eye. That poor guy, man, when freaking Knives even says, you're more likely to die in a hospital than anything. And he's like, can you just leave me alone?
Right.
I mean? Poor guy's like probably dying already.
Are you even a nurse?
Yeah. Steals his fruit cup like bully. But yeah, I was surprised. I totally forgot that she was like hiding too at the end when they show her,
The other thing, they break a rule in screenwriting, right? So you don't introduce a gun in Act 1 and not show it go off in Act 3.
Mm-hmm.
So don't threaten a fucking fly-by-night C-section and then not really fully deliver it.
Right.
Or maybe they do, but from the inside.
Right. No, I do, like, because I was thinking that too. That would have been intense, and that would have been her moment. We already mentioned it. That would have been a big thing for her to overcome. That she should have cut it open and overcame that, and then got killed by what came out.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, dude, that would have been badass.
Right.
Like, I think this movie, if it took itself less seriously, could have really spruced it up and been something that we would have really liked. Not saying take it to the Slither level, right?
Yeah.
But just kind of like interject the right moments.
Tone it down a little, take it a notch down. But
or
I
go
love
fully
that.
on into a cerebral tone from the beginning, and then go very art house with developing the characters.
I love hip hop's comment though, Robbie. I got into horror again thanks to you homies, the Hellraiser marathon specifically.
I did too. I got into horror because of you guys.
I love hearing that more than anything, man.
And classic films, like that's a big thing. For years, I was like, "Fuck the '80s, fuck all." You know what I mean? I was like, movies didn't get good until the late '90s or 2000s or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't be more wrong looking back on it now. You just got to acclimate yourself to the age. Not that this is an '80s film, but you know what I mean.
I just feel great that someone watched all the Hellraiser films along with us and loved horror films after that. Because I love that franchise, but it seemed like most people thought the franchise. We had so many differing opinions on that review night, but we all agree that Judgment sucks ass.
Oh, I bet, man. I fucking love the first 4 Hellraisers. They have one of the best in space besides Jason X. Hellraiser in space is awesome, man.
Dude, I love the first fucking 6.
I'm trying to think because the Inferno. I can't remember the
Inferno.
6th one,
the 6th one is Hellseeker, and then Deader, and I still like Deader too. Hellworld and Beyond kind of fall apart a little bit, but
Inferno though was like, I think Inferno is another one where it was like a detective story, and they just throw Hellraiser in it. But I love James Remar, so. But I fucking love Hellraiser.
Dude, that first one, I hadn't. That's the perfect example. I'd never seen the first Hellraiser.
Really?
And then I watched it before you guys did the review, and I was like, "Holy hell!" Like I had no idea. I didn't even know what it was about necessarily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I grew up watching the ones with Pinhead in it, and never got way into them at all. To be honest with you, I haven't even got there. But the first one is incredible. Like I was blown away by it.
Yeah. It's one that, like, when I was a kid, I never liked Pinhead. I always saw that. I always I rented it once or twice, and because it's like you see the VHS art, and you're like, this Pinhead, you know what I mean? So great, but it's like he's not even in the movie. He's like in the last 10 minutes of the movie. Mm-hmm. So that always threw me off when I was really young, and I just thought, I was like, this is like weird, you know what I mean? Like, but as I got older, man, I adore those movies, man. I love the second one. The first one is so good, but the second one just kind of dives more into it. Kind of gets into that like labyrinth vibe when they go to the Leviathan place.
Oh, I did watch the second one. I did.
Which some days I like that, some days I don't really care for it because they got like the mute girl and everything. I don't know, but I'm a huge Clive Barker fan, especially like Nightbreed. I love Nightbreed. And what was the other one he did? What's the other movie he did? Illusions.
Lord of Illusions?
Yeah.
That's a good movie, man.
Yeah.
It's silly, but it's fun.
I'm really excited to see what Hulu's going to do with the girl Pinhead. And then we're going to get the guy who's doing the Halloween movies right now. David Gordon Green, he's supposed to be doing a Hellraiser show on HBO Max.
Yeah, so two different attempts to reboot the franchise.
Clive Barker, I think, is producing the Hulu one. Yeah, and he's like totally saying that this is awesome with the girl, especially because they always said Pinhead, like because I think that was the first thing people were like, Pinhead's not a girl, but they're like, well, if you've read the book, Pinhead is like gender fluid, so it does actually make sense. But I'm really, and then David Gordon Green is supposed to be doing like an Exorcist trilogy, I think.
Yep.
On Peacock, mate. I can't remember. It's something like that.
And surprise, ignoring all the sequels.
Exactly. That's
a direct sequel to the original set in the modern day.
That's one thing. It's like, I don't understand. So what about this TV show? Is it going to be a direct sequel to the original for Hellraiser too? Like, it's like, come on, man. You don't have to do that with every series.
Right.
You know
it cleans things up. You know what I mean? It's like they've already told so much story. Let's just
Oh, with Hellraiser, you kind of would have to do it, I guess. You know?
I got a crazy idea. Fucking do something new.
Yeah, that's more.
That ain't gonna happen.
At least they tried to do that with The Void.
Right.
Yeah. That's the one thing, though. It's just like, especially when it's like the same guy who just did it with Halloween. He's like, okay, now I'm going to go do it with Hellraiser, and I'm going to do it with The Exorcist. Shit, I might even do it with freaking Nightmare on Elm Street. And then if I can get the rights, I'll do it with Friday the 13th, Like, it's just like, okay, calm down, man. We don't have to do that with everything. That's all,
We need a new Friday the 13th.
I know. Jason,
we need to do new Freddy, too.
Someone was saying that they asked Jason Blum, they're like, have you ever tried to do like a Friday the 13th or a Freddy movie? He's like, I've tried for years. I can't get the rights. Maybe one day he'll get the Friday the 13th rights, especially now that
we need a Friday the 13th movie that is a direct sequel to Jason Takes Manhattan.
Where he's in Manhattan?
Or whatever, you can, or just, whatever. But like Jason Goes to Hell, count that out. And Jason X is in the future. Right. Do a movie there. Let Kane Hodder be in it. We have our 13th Jason film. We need a 13th Friday the 13th.
We do. And I really want Kane Hodder to play him too before he's too old, because he's getting up there, man.
And then do whatever the fuck you want after that. I don't give a shit. But just give me a 13th movie with Kane Hodder.
I did like Derek Mears, though. He was great. Jason in the reboot. Hip Hop said Hellraiser 2, 4, 1, 3 for me. I do love 2. I would probably go 1, 2, 4, 3. I don't know, or 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not, because some days I really like 3. Me and Fable have such a love.
I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2. That's probably what I would do too. But some days I really like 4. 4 is great.
Some days I really like 3 though, for some reason, because it's the weirdest stretch, man.
Some days I love 3 too, and it is like, dude.
Every time me and Jay Strick now talk about like, say a night we had that was sexually nice. Yeah, we always be like, yeah, bro, it was like that dude in Hellraiser 3.
I was just gonna come, yeah.
Like that's how this dude comes, man.
He's like, you know what I
mean? With the cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Like, what the fuck is that?
And he's literally like just going like, you know what I'm saying? Like going like, come on.
That's how I am at night, my friends. I'm just like,
and he just dogs that chick too. He's like, I really just don't want to listen to you, so get the fuck out. Yeah. And then she's like, but you gave me a rose, and he's like, yeah. And tomorrow night I'm gonna give someone else a rose. So hit the break.
That's why you buy a nightclub, man.
I know that Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, man.
It's too late for that, I think.
It is.
I do think they would be nice to get one more Freddy movie with Robert Englund, but like,
yes,
what would you do?
Dude,
like,
what? Dude, I contemplate even wanting a Freddy movie without Robert Englund,
right?
Because I'm not saying that what's his name was bad. The guy who played Rorschach. The script was poorly. I didn't really care for the look of it.
The makeup was not good either.
I don't like the look. His
voice, like, oh, this is what burn victims actually look like. Yeah, but Freddy's iconic. Like that's a look.
It's so tough with him because it's that face. It's Robert Englund's face.
Yeah,
and he was the only one who played him.
Right. It's so
which is singular. Amongst like Jason and Michael and all those other guys. It could honestly, even though we have our favorites, it could be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Most people wouldn't care, but Freddy is different.
And most people don't even know that a different person played Michael or Jason. A lot of people, they have no clue, because
Pinhead's the same way. As soon as they put somebody else there, it just does not work. Because even in the shittiest of Hellraiser films, Doug Bradley fucking soars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's another thing too. That like just because the look of Pinhead, because it's like you even with the pins that you see Doug Bradley through the makeup. You know what I mean? So that's another tough one, I feel like. So that's why I want
you see Robert through the makeup too.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Right on point, yeah.
And then just you get his comedic, like we don't get the comedic till 2 really, or maybe even 3, I guess. But
3's where it really amps up.
Yeah, but it's just like because like that, I feel like Robert Englund just can be like that jokester in a way. I don't know, man, but it's just I don't know, man. I wonder for that, like, speaking of that, because we know who's going to be Pinhead for the Hulu, that chick, but who's going to be Pinhead for the HBO Max?
Yeah, we don't know. Probably some schlub.
I really like. That's why I wonder. Like, there's no what's going on with Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not like it's Friday the 13th where it's a shit with something going on with the rights. I mean, New Line Cinema. I don't know is really around anymore. So maybe
I think they really tanked it on that last one. And they've been very nervous about it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think they don't know what the hell to do.
I think they're like us because we don't know what they should do either.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. And then Wes Craven's gone. Maybe Robert Englund is so like he's probably like, well, I'll do it, but it has to be right, you know. And they probably just haven't hit him with the right script, maybe even, or you know, they just like you said, they have nothing to go on.
Just waiting for CG to be. That's what they should do. Take Robert Englund in, put all the dots on his head, have him make every face that he could make, and then just animate the goddamn thing. So because that's what he says. He's not able to actually move and perform and do the movie.
Really? Well, I know there was like the Goldbergs episode where, and that was like 2 years ago, where it's like a comedy sitcom, and the mother like has a nightmare, and Freddy's in it, and it's Robert Englund. He wears the makeup, you know. So, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's makeup and a glove, you know, like what they don't. He doesn't need to be doing fight scenes or anything, but I feel like he could do one more, you know.
I love that church scene in Hellraiser 3. And when I met Doug Bradley, he told us that was one of his favorite scenes in all of the movies, is when he does the whole, this is my flesh, this is my blood. And then he like puts the nails, he pulls the pins out and like crucifies himself. And he's like, I am the way. Like that shit's fucking dope, man. And of course I had a Christian upbringing. So to me, I'm like, oh, that's so taboo.
I know, man. My like a couple
How daring.
2 months ago, Albert, my girl like threw on the remake with me and her son, and I was just like, "This is so cringy, man. It is."
What's
so
worse,
bad.
the remake of Child's Play or the remake of Friday the 13th or Friday the 13th remake? I actually like.
Me
Nightmare
too.
on Elm Street's pretty
I
like that one.
I love the remake. It's like goofy. It's funny.
Your kids
it's
are
brutal.
stupendous.
I say that to my girl every single day. Every single day. Like, I literally say that. Like, if she was here right now, she'd
You're taking the wrong lesson from that scene, Dylan.
Dude, but I just say it because I love that line, you know?
The Chucky one, I honestly, like, I don't, like, ever get offended. I had just rewatched, like, the franchise, and then I watched the remake, and I was like, this is spitting in the face of Child's Play.
Yeah.
But at least it's funny. Like, it's like so bad that it's funny. It falls into that category.
It's slightly better than the Eternals is what you're saying.
Right. But Friday the 13th, it's the makeup and then where they go. There's certain child molesting aspects of the movie that I didn't care for. Like they and them forgetting the repressed memories. That was an issue for me that I didn't really dig in the Friday the 13th remake.
Yeah, I would easily say no.
I don't even remember any of that. I just remember the stupendous tits.
Well, all of the kids. That's no. Wait a minute, am I tripping? Fucking yeah, I mean Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I'm tripping.
Okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street was the child molesters. Remember all the kids from Elm Street? They all forgot that Freddy molested them when they were kids.
Yeah.
They all repressed that memory. That's a pretty
they make it seem like maybe he didn't do it and they killed an innocent man, and then it ends up being that he did do it. So then that was another thing that I hated, because I was like, well, they could have maybe done something good with that, where it was like
that was always the whole idea.
Right.
Yeah, but that's why I was like, if
Wes wasn't as overt with some of his stuff sometimes. He gets accused of being really overt with his movies sometimes, like Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes, both have rape scenes in them, but you don't actually see as much as you would see in like a Death Wish movie.
Right.
You get
as
what I'm
a
saying?
kid, I never thought that Freddy molested children. But it is implied. Like I do think that now, but the way that they handled that in that movie,
obviously because he's the son of a nun who was raped by 1,000 bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Because they get into that bit later,
right?
And then do try to show that a little bit. I don't know. There's a way. Rape scenes in movies, for instance. This is a weird subject to be.
But yeah, 3
hours into the fucking show, and I've drank way too many beers to get into this. But I feel like if they're there, they should be very uncomfortable.
Right.
And they shouldn't be like sexualized in any kind of way. And you see that a lot in movies that get a pass versus movies that are handling it in a much more disturbing way. Like the rape scenes in, God, I hate talking about this. Hills Have Eyes and Last House on the Left are disturbing, but they're not like as elaborate or as trying to be as sexually provocative and titillating as some of the other shit that I've seen throughout the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
It's the most difficult subject matter that I rarely care for it in films or comics. It's like, it's such a touchy thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but it's like, it's the hardest thing to do and get done right. Yeah. I think it's, it's rough.
Absolutely. It should be rough when it happens, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is when if you got to approach that subject, it should be rough. And Last House on the Left, which I always praise, and a lot of people don't like that film because it's rough. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a necessary exploration, not because of that scene, but because of what it's saying about humanity. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the rape revenge movies, really. But they're just so hard to watch, But I understand them, and I am always rooting for those fuckers to get theirs after they do that fucking shit, man.
There's just so many of them that try to do the incident scene in a titillating manner. I think that's near deplorable, man. Yeah, I really do. Like I'm all for expression. I'm all for pushing boundaries and even sexually on film and shit like that, but not there's certain lines, and certain lines get crossed, and yeah.
It's a tightrope.
What a weird show tonight, right?
Well, it's rarely for me like entertaining. Like it's always, you want to be disturbed by certain things. That's just not the way I want to be disturbed, personally. But I like the way you worded it. It's everything should be explored in the right way. That's just the one that I'm not as interested in.
Correct.
But I can hear a comedian make rape jokes and laugh. You know what I mean? So at the same time, that's a different thing.
Have you ever seen Last House on the Left, the original?
Dude, I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, like, fuck, have I seen this movie? I don't know.
It's Craven's first real film, and I think you should watch it. It's going to be disturbing, but it's going to be disturbing all the way through. But at the end of it, I think you will have an appreciation for what Craven's trying to say and how that relates to the rest of his career.
Right.
Go from that to Hills Have Eyes to Nightmare on Elm Street into Serpent in the Rainbow and People Under the Stairs. He's always trying to make an actual statement about the darkness inherent in all of us. And it's the almost the restriction of that darkness or the lack of acknowledgement of it that creates the most inhumane things in humanity.
Right. Acknowledge the shadow.
Yeah, in a way, right?
Heck yeah. I almost, because we're having such good convo. Did you have anything you wanted to show off?
I always got something, man.
I got nothing. Let's see what Robbie's got. I got nothing.
I don't think I got any. I might have one. No, I don't think I have anything this week, honestly. I have to look. I'm trying to think.
I just got a nice little haul of some things today.
Sick.
I can show off.
I got a tiny thing I'll show you guys, actually. Let's see what Robbie's got.
This is what I got. I got this Shockwave action figure. I bought it loose, so it was kind of cheap. But it's a Shockwave figure. It's from the newer line, so it fits with everything else I have.
Fable will love that.
Yeah, I know, right? Wanted this comic for a while. It's been reprinted by Marvel, but they censor it and they recolor it, and I don't like that. So I said, "Fuck it, I'm taking the dive." So I got me today a Miracle Man #1 because I want the original coloring. I don't want censorship, and I got a #2.
Ooh.
So hopefully I can piece together the entire run. Kevin Eastman is coming here to the Rocket City, Huntsville, Alabama in April at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. So, my turtle reprints that I have right now are the color classics. So I wanted to go into the old school black and white. So I got a Turtles Ultimate Collection Volume 1 trade paperback.
Hell yeah, I want that.
That's sweet.
Reprinting it in the black and white with the duo shade and all that shit with notes and annotations from the creators. Look at that.
Awesome.
So I'm going to start collecting them there. And since it's the horror show, I got a NECA figure that I hadn't gotten yet.
Oh, yeah.
Dream Warriors, Freddy.
Hell
the Dream Warriors.
That's a good one too, bro.
Yeah, it's got the chest.
The chest.
Yeah.
Got the syringe hands.
And he's got like the cross head.
What's that little thing in the top right? Or what's that little mini figure? Okay.
It's a little puppet, Freddy. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The puppet scene. He's got the dollhouse.
You could put like a light through on the second head, and like the light comes through the cross.
Yeah, the same thing with
because I got that
one. Shockwave figure, actually. I don't know if you can see the eye beam glowing.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So yeah, that's what I got today.
I didn't know you didn't have that. Did you? Was that your first Freddy NECA?
The first Freddy NECA I had was the one from the first one. I have that one. And I think it's a NECA, but I have a Dream Warriors Freddy, but it's from before they started doing them like this.
Yeah.
So I do not have this one.
Yeah.
But I was able to get this one. It's used. It's a little beat up. And I was able to get this cheap along with the Shockwave. And I'm very excited to have it. Because this is, outside of the first one, this is my favorite Freddy movie.
That chest piece is sick. Like that. That's one of those like iconic
I'm going to
images.
display him. I'm going to display him with that and the syringe hands.
Hell yeah.
I don't have the syringe. I don't have the syringe hands, but I got him with the chest.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool to see it in there.
Yeah, it literally just like, the chest like just pops off. Because I was like, I wonder how they do that. But, dude, the detail like on the Freddy's, man, are crazy. Like if you just look at the freaking detail on the skin, I mean, Robbie can obviously do it, but it's just crazy, bro.
Yeah, looks great, dude.
The NECAs are really good for the price point. They're like it's really good.
They're like they went up. They were like 30. Now they're like 32 to 40, like 36. So that sucks a little bit, but. Dude, there's just so detailed, man. I mean, they're not really meant to be played. I just either keep it in the box or
look at that one. That's one of my favorite ones, man. Look at the detail on that face, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I was just gonna show because we kept talking about Pinhead.
Oh, I fucked up your show and tell. I'm sorry.
Oh no, dude, I don't care. I don't really have anything for show and tell, so it don't matter.
I do actually have a couple of things I'll show some people. Just some sentimental stuff for me, like nostalgic stuff that I'm hoping somebody will be like, oh shit, I remember those. And I'm curious if you guys read these growing up.
Let's do it.
Do you guys know these? You guys know Shel Silverstein?
I do. I remember those. Why won't it let me blow you up?
That's all. I don't need to be blown up. We're good. It's uncomfortable being blown up sometimes.
I know. I hate it.
You guys remember these, man?
I remember those. I remember those.
This dude, Shel Silverstein. When I went on with TM Nerdy, he does like the comic, whatever. I forget the name of his show, but it's like, if I think back, like my first like thing combining words and illustrations, it's this stuff, and my grandma would read it to us as kids. So it's like I had just forgotten all about. They're like pretty much poems with illustrations, and he writes them and he draws them. And I don't know, they just meant a ton to me growing up. This is this dude.
Hell
and it was one of those things. It's crazy the way these images get burned into your brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like stuff from childhood, comic books that you're into. So like when my grandma passed away, that was like the one item that I'm like, I want those books. Like I made this like a claim to them, and everybody's like, just fucking take them. It's not a big deal. But to me, they were like so important. So I was just happy to have these things.
I'm the same way, dude. Like my VHSs that I got from my dude. Like I got this one, but I had like a bunch of the Universal monsters, and they just disappeared when I started moving on. I'm like, where are they? They're like, well, we don't know. I was like, well, if you didn't touch my shit, I would know exactly where they're at. You know what I mean? Like they were right under my bed. And fucking, what was it? There was another thing I had. The what was it? This is one I got from my dad though, but it's like the Wolfman.
Oh, that's cool. That's why
looks like my uncle.
Yeah. But
you know, we were talking about the Void has a big influence from The Thing, right? And I have a figure from The Thing I want to show off.
Do you? I want to get the freaking.
Check it out.
That is a freaky looking thing.
Yeah, man. Pretty dope, isn't it?
It looks like a Happy Meal toy.
It's not, but it's pretty dope. I have a wind-up blade too, from the movie, but I'm not going to open that because I keep my blade figures on card for some reason. I don't open my blade figures. I need to get duplicates. But yeah, I just wanted to make that Thing joke.
That's funny.
Thanks. Yep.
I want to know what kind of pants you're wearing there, dude.
Yeah,
you got some kicking pants. Is that the Abominable Snowman?
When my Jiddu died, though, he had a bunch of Conan novels too, and and I didn't know about them. And then my dad like mentioned something about. I was like, I want those because I love Conan, and they got thrown away. So I was like, damn, bro, like they. And then I remember like I literally had all the hardcover Harry Potter books, first print too. Hardcover, and my dude bought those because that was one that, like, when Lord of the Rings came out, he would buy me all the novels, like The Hobbit, all three of the Lord of the Rings. He would read them. I would read them, and we would, like, go back and forth because we loved those. Harry Potter, he did the same. I let my uncle borrow them, and he fucking sold them on me, man, and it's killed me to this day. And then they literally act like, I don't know, man, they disappeared. They say that he didn't sell them, maybe he didn't, but they disappeared, and it kills me to this day. And, just because, like, it had more sentimental value. Because, like, yeah, I can buy them again, but it's just their first prints, too, and they just need a little more, Mm-hmm. But I'm sure my ass just destroyed them or something when I was a kid. Who fucking knows?
That's the same thing with me. Like, I love the fact that I'll be able to read my kids the same books that I grew up reading. That's, it's the sentimental thing. I don't think these have any value, these Shel Silverstein books, but I love that aspect.
Oh, yeah.
But, shit, next week, what are we doing, my man? Blood Diner?
Blood Diner. Not Blood Diamond. Blood Diner.
Blood Diner.
Blood Diamond, badass film.
Blood Diner. Diamond is badass.
Yeah, it is. But we're not doing that. Don't convince Dylan. We're doing Blood Diner. We're doing one of those classic movies from the 80s that's so gnarly, so fucking awesome, so badass that most people have not heard of.
Never heard of it.
So, Blood Diner. Where can we stream this at? Let me look it up. I think it was on Amazon Prime.
Probably Amazon.
It's on the Roku channel for free.
It's probably on Tubi, too.
It's on the Roku channel for free. Just going to say. That's the only place I see it streaming right now. Can you get the Roku channel if you don't have a Roku?
It's a great question.
No, I don't think so. Because my mom has bought like a Roku Fire Stick, or Roku, like it's like a Fire Stick, but she literally bought a Roku just because.
I got a Roku. That's what I use on my TV. I love it. So, but I have the Blu-ray. So. You can also just pirate it.
Yeah, my mom. I guess my mom said that there's certain apps Roku has that Amazon doesn't, or the Fire Stick. But yeah, let me see. Is it on Amazon or anything? But Blood Diner, man, this is a freaking awesome, crazy B movie. I think, especially after this movie, this is a fun switch up, man. So.
Yeah,
check that out if you can, Bruno. I think that you would get a kick out of that one. It's like it's a comedic B horror movie, but it has like over the top practical effects too.
Yep. Really
and fun. The girl, it's like an Asian chick that directed it, and she was like 25 maybe. Because she did a movie before that at maybe like 23 called The Being, and that's a pretty good movie too. I actually want to pick that one up someday. Oh, shoot. I guess it's not on here. I swear Blood Diner is on Tubi, though. Well,
it's on the Roku channel.
It's on the Roku channel for sure. And like you said, you can.
I'm sitting trying to figure out if I have a fucking Roku. I think I might. I really don't know.
My girl has like a freaking Roku TV. I'd be surprised if it wasn't on Tubi though. But then Verno's like, I'm fucking sick of watching shit on Tubi.
I really don't mind for the most part, dude. I'm always just blown away that, especially Tubi's not as bad as Crackle. Crackle, those commercials were longer and more frequent than Tubi. It seemed like it to me at least, and more annoying. Too much Jake from State Farm.
Like a good neighbor.
I didn't want to get sued, so I didn't want to sing that second part.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. We ain't got that Aaron Rodgers fucking money, man. We ain't got that Chris Paul money. That Mahomes money. Dylan, it's on the Roku channel. I don't know why you keep trying.
Yeah, no, I don't see it on.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, I know.
See if I can find it on anything else, but no.
I usually if it's, I usually don't mind. A lot of times you can buy this shit on digital for like $8, especially these old movies, and I have no issue. I got no qualms with digital. You know,
sometimes you can't, and that's the crappy thing. And I think on Amazon, it's saying Blood Diner's not even available
to rent.
Yeah, but I bet like maybe on iTunes or something you could find it.
It's on the Roku channel, everybody.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or you can just buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah. Well, no, it just sucks that you can't even rent it on Amazon.
It does. Every movie should be able to rent for like $3 or $4.
Exactly.
On YouTube and Amazon and
it's like a $25 Blu-ray, you know, and Verno's not gonna want to spend $25 on a movie he might not like.
I'm not recommending that. I'm just
YouTube's
recommending
the other place. If it's not to be found on a lot of places, like maybe it's on Roku. I don't know. We haven't checked there, but if it's not on there, then it's YouTube is pretty consistent. Like they have everything other than Super Mario Brothers. They have most things at least.
Yeah, they're trying to hide that one, bury it.
So
but it is on the Roku channel, everybody.
All right, Roku
for free. So maybe you have to buy a Roku though.
Maybe
that's not too. You got a friend. Hey, let me borrow your Roku. People used to borrow VCRs. I don't know if people remember that, but my uncle all the time would be like, "Can I borrow your VCR?"
Well, you like Felicia? Can I borrow y'all's VCR right quick? I'm trying to dub a tape.
Most people like, why you dubbing the tape? You ain't got a VCR. Oh, you need the extra VCR. Okay, I get it. I've done that before.
Hell yeah, though. So Blood Diner, that will definitely be fun next week.
Hell yeah.
Fucking
and underappreciated. You know, there's a lot of great '80s films directed by women, so it's cool to focus on one. We already did with Slumber Party Massacre, so it's cool to do another one.
I love that. Roald Dahl, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The Roald Dahl was a shit.
That shit scared the fuck out of me, that thumb story. God damn, where he picks the thumb up and the dude eats it for some fucking reason.
Mm-hmm. Dude, Scary Stories in the Dark, I probably like at all times that was the book I was like, you know, borrowing every like over and over and over.
I would check that shit out from my library all the time. I need to buy them. I don't own them. I need to get them.
I used to own the first two, and I'm sure they're gone now.
For a while, they changed the artwork. It was very controversial, but now I think they went back to the original.
Yeah, because the covers, man, were classic.
They said they were too scary, Verno.
They were too scary, but they were scary. Like I remember literally like sitting around with my brother and cousin, like at sleepovers, and like reading them. I can't even imagine kids sitting around and reading stories with each other now. There's no way kids would do that.
Hey, let's watch this TikTok. This guy named Perry Comics has got this TikTok.
Scary Perry. You think those stories are scary?
Did you ever watch the movie for that they did 2 years ago?
My fiance was watching it a couple nights ago, and I was doing other shit.
I couldn't really get into it because it is more leaned in for the kids, and in a way, I'm like, that's fine, but in a way, it's like, well, I know they're like, well, the adults that read it as kids, they can take their kids, which I like that, I almost wish it's like, well, give me two versions. One where it's like the R-rated version, and then one. But I guess it was never like R-rated. It's always meant for kids. But
Right.
I just will. I don't know. I gotta give it a shot one day. But I hope they do sequels for it because I think Del Toro worked on that, like produced those.
We're so spoiled that all the stuff that we grew up with, now they're making that again for us.
Yeah.
But then it's like, what about those kids? Like, you're gonna make everything that they're making for kids is so tame compared to the scary stuff we watched as kids. It seems like, to me at least.
Like Goosebumps, man. Like the Jack Black ones were just so kiddie, you know what I mean? And then like when I remember watching the show as a kid, I still thought that was creepy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And to this day, I feel like the show was scarier than the Jack Black movies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. That's why I think they just go too Hollywood with some of the stuff. Come rap with me on Discord. I want to bring you through the Cypher clubs. He's telling you, Robbie.
Oh, whatever, man. I ain't rapping tonight, I'll tell you that.
I try to do Discord. If it is what I'm thinking it is, where you just go in and there's people talking.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I got so shy. I'm like, I'm not saying anything.
I have it, and I like did it for because I did it for like a horror community. I just never like end up going on it. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like I did it for a little bit, but like I had one for the comic community. I think we even started to make one at one point in our like comic community, and then I just like stopped going on it, and then I did like the comic one and then the horror one, and I just like never do it. I still have the app. I just like never go on it, to be honest. It's like it's just another thing, you know what I mean? It's like, well, I talked to somebody on IG or on here, you know, so it's like it just adds another level of something you got to keep up with.
Tonight, I'm just gonna eat a cheeseburger and go to bed.
Exactly. But Brian, you got anything going on that you want to talk about before we get out of here in a minute?
Yeah, you know what? Check out dropping tomorrow. I think we got Fable down in the chat. I had a really fun conversation. I mentioned it when I was just on Robbie's show. Fun conversation with Fable and Big Worm, Big Perm Collectibles and Stephanie Link. Don't tell him I called him that. And we talked about our favorite comics growing up. Just a little nostalgic talk about the comics we were obsessed with that really got us into the game. So that episode will be out tomorrow, and then I'll be back hopefully the following week to talking about new comic books. And with instead of the weekly reviews, I'm doing more like focused on that series that Robbie really likes, like X Deaths, X Lives of Wolverine. If you're into that, I'm doing like single issue breakdowns on. I think all of those I'm going to do it on and stuff like that. I'm doing a transitional thing on the Cerebros, working around my new schedule.
Heck yeah!
So check it out. It's good fun.
Hell yeah,
Robbie, my man. What we got going on?
Get Rockin' Robbie live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be talking about House of Flying Daggers. We're going to be doing the DC sneak peek. We're going to be doing Image in the 90s. We're going to be doing some Rob Liefeld trying to ape on Frank Miller's style. It's really interesting. So it's going to be a good old time. And then PCP movie night on Monday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be talking about Small Soldiers by Joe Dante.
Dude, I got to try and make that one. I love that. I still haven't watched it, but I want to send me the link.
I kept a seat open for you, Dylan, so I would hope to see you there.
I love that movie. I might
bring your rodeo burgers along with everybody.
I'll definitely be there for at least a review. I just gotta maybe I'll watch that tonight. I just feel like I get so like I've been like out of the zone with some stuff, and like I'll try to put stuff on, I just can't get into it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna throw on Cobra Kai. I don't know what's been. I just been loading, and I look. They Netflix, because Netflix is so weird. That's one thing which I have the Blu-rays for. Stranger Things. I got but they're dirt cheap. They're like these VHS packs for like $5, and for season 1 and 2. But Netflix is so weird about releasing their content on physical, which I don't understand, because it's like not everyone does Netflix or the streaming. So there are people, it might sound crazy, but not everyone does all the streaming like we, you know what I mean? So I just feel like, man, Cobra Kai, they only have seasons 1, 2, and 3 on DVD, not even Blu-ray. I'm just like, that's so weird, man. Because I really wanted to get it for the behind the scenes, just because I kind of I just am like so in love with it, and I want to get that Karate Kid 4K box set, man, so bad now. Because it comes with all 3 movies in the slip covers too. So nice. The slip covers, like I was like, it comes with the slip covers. But hell yeah, man. I don't know what's I just love it's just like, you get into the zone of wanting to watch stuff, and it's just like an easy, like I said, how I rewatch stuff when you're just like, I don't feel like going through Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu, or whatever. I just don't feel like going through millions of movies to find one movie that I like am gonna fall asleep halfway through. Like I'm gonna just throw on something I know. You know what I mean? I get in that phase at times, but the Cobra Kai has been just so much fun, man. And I just want season 5 now. Is season 5 supposed to be the last season? I doubt it, but I don't know. I thought I heard someone was acting like season 5 might be the last one. Mm-hmm. You watch it, don't you, Robbie?
Yeah, man.
I thought so.
I love it. I love Cobra Kai.
Good Cobra stuff. Kai by the writers of the first and best, Harold and Kumar. Yeah, I do love Harold and Kumar.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, does that? I was going to say when we were talking about the video stuff, that Netflix, when they first started mailing movies, you could find some really rare, like, horror movies that they would send, like, delivered to your house. Like, that's like, I think you get, like, Suspiria and stuff back then, but there was a lot of rare, like, horror movies that you just could not find in stores, like, a lot of times through Netflix when they would deliver. I didn't know that they still mail discs.
I didn't either. It's crazy.
I'm shocked by that.
It's like a different brand now. It's like DVD.com or something. I don't know.
Really?
Something weird like that.
I remember, though, it sucked because a lot of times the disc would come scratched. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing, like renting movies,
Yeah, I got to revisit a lot of 80s stuff during those Netflix mail-in days.
Your secret's safe with me, hip hop. I know I've been there. But yeah, dude, they had some good stuff. But yeah, because DVDs were like, those are the most scratch worthy, like, and once DVDs, like Blu-rays, like hard to scratch. It's possible, but it's hard to, and they don't always mess up the way it plays. You scratch a DVD, you're fucked.
Dude, my local place, when it was DVDs, I was like, I can't even watch these things. Half the times you would get them back then, they wouldn't work. It was like, fuck this.
Yep. Sucked. But yeah, man, dude. So next week, Blood Diner. Make sure you guys do your homework. I know y'all can find this somewhere. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Thanks everyone for joining tonight. Dude, thank you, Vernon, for joining. It was so great to have you.
Thanks for having me, man. Always.
Dude,
thanks for introducing me to this fire movie.
Dude, I'm glad you liked it, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Me too, dude.
That's one good thing I do like is trying to show some people some of these movies that I like a lot. That one I ended up, like, when I first started, it was just because I was like coming off the high of watching it too, so I was like really excited to talk about it. But thanks everyone for joining. My man Bobby, Albert, Taki, Hip Hop, Albert. I know Fable was in here. My boy Billy, my boy TM, Two Gun, T House. Bobby D, if I didn't say him already. I know we had some porn bots up in here, Mastodon. Can't forget them porn bots. No. Kirby, you know what I mean? Comic book G-Spot, Jerem.
It's an old code, but it still seems to check out.
James 12. You can't get rid of them, man, even if you try. Gary North. And I think that's probably it. Let me see. So we had a good chat going today, man.
So don't forget Phil was in here, wasn't he? Phil?
Stop joking.
No jokes. Everybody remember, I don't see enough comments on the rewind on Dylan's Horror Show. So feel free. You want to support the show, make sure leave a comment afterwards when you see it go up. helps the algorithm, help get that shit out there.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dylan's Horse Show doesn't just end when we stop being live, y'all.
It never ends.
I know. I feel like sometimes the 3 hours, like because we've been doing long. Before we would do like hour and a half too. Now, like I feel like we've been having so much fun.
I really think a lot of people are going to see this video and be like, "There's no way these guys go for 3.5 hours about the void."
we really don't. We go for about an hour on the void.
There's not a lot of Manny was up in here. There's not a lot of reviews, I don't think, for the void either. So that that could help. My boy Robbie P was in here. I said Manny, and I saw someone else, and I just missed him. But my man Comics King was up in here, Brandon. But yeah, I mean, that's one, like, I couldn't believe that Better Watch Out blew up like that. Like, I don't know what happened. I want to like go back and watch and see if it's did we just have that great of a discussion, or is it because of the movie? If there's not that many reviews out there, because it was around Christmas time as well. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Discussion was fire. I know that
it was. We've been having some fire discussion because it was me, you, Robbie, Fable was there, and Steph. Yeah, because Fable loved it too, and that's rare. I feel like too when we get like everybody to like it. Like usually there's like at least one or two, but like Exorcist 3 stuff and Fable hated it. Yeah, Two Gun, man, got to get to the 1K. And also Two Gun has already helped, with some giveaways for the freaking 1K. I know. Here's one of the little freaking oh my God, Bill and Ted homages. And I got a couple, and he sent me some horror books to throw in there, like some Hatchet and what else? I forget what else there's like some Jughead, and I know he sent me Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, so when we get to that 1K, we'll definitely have a nice 1K giveaway. I know he had said, I think, for the 900, but I was slacking. So when I get to the 1K, I'll have just like a big giveaway, like the books he gave me. And I know I got some more books myself, and maybe I'll give away like a DVD or two, something. I like my Cabin. I have like a double copy of Cabin Fever. So yeah, when we get there, we'll talk. But we're at like 9:08, and I'm sure it's going to take a while because it's been a slow ride. But I don't really. I'll be happy to get there, but I'm just happy, hanging out with you fine young gentlemen every week.
Same here, brother.
We'll get
yeah, that's like I love that you guys say that so much, but just, my biggest thing is that we just all have a fun time, that's like my biggest thing. And
I think it translates, man. The more fun we have, the more fun everybody will have.
And if I was like putting in more like shorter videos, I think that would help, because a lot of people that do these long live streams, then they also have like 10-minute reviews on other movies or like, unboxings. And I think that don't help. Like if I did like shorter videos, then when they did the live streams, they'd be like, well, I already love his reviews, so let me check, his live reviews. So I think just doing straight live reviews kind of hurts the growth. You know what I mean? Just because if you see a 3.5-hour video, it's going to be daunting, and you're like, I'm going to go check this 10-minute video for the boy out instead. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a different thing. I mean, you're providing a different service,
Exactly. Plus, we don't talk about the void, the entire time. It's like we'll do some little horror news. Robbie does a little horror comics this week. And, we'll do a little show and tell at the end, and we'll bullshit in between, So it's just a good time all around, And, we have the great people that are from our community coming every week. So that's all that matters to me. Like my boy Two Gun, Fable, Steph, Travis. I get the same faces every week, and I love seeing them. I can always expect to see my boys every week, So it's awesome to see like Kirby, Jerem, fucking Gary, my boy Billy, just everybody, man. And if I forgot your name, don't take it personal. I love every single one of y'all, man. Every single one of y'all, I love y'all. But yeah, man, I cannot wait for next week. Blood Diner will be absolutely awesome. This is a hell of a fun movie, man. And I can't wait to hear what everyone thinks next week, man. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Steph does bring the lady viewers. That's why I'm always trying to sneak him in. this movie was a sequel to 2009 Into the Void, right? No, I don't know about that, but
nah, man. But that's not that's a pop pop boom.
Oh man, Tea House. I don't know, man. The early videos probably are really bad. But I do appreciate it. I'm sure I do look so innocent and pure and just so not knowing what the hell I'm doing, speaking into like a shitty mic too, and just so nervous because that was like I had no idea what I was doing. And like I get so nervous meeting new people just in real life. Like I'm like pretty shy. So like when I started doing it, it was like a growth for me because I just couldn't believe that I would talk to a camera by myself. So like live streams is what really opened me up. I feel like because I can at least talk with people. And it's more like hanging out instead of just like recording myself because I hate hearing myself. My girl was like trying to watch the Scream review, and I'm like, I don't want to hear my voice. Right. I'm like, listen to it somewhere else. She was like, but you do a show. I was like, but I don't re-listen to my videos. I just cannot stand my voice. Like it's something about my voice. I know everyone's like that, but it's when I hear my voice, I'm like, is my voice that fucking deep, bro? Like Jesus, I don't know, man. But I used to watch it because obviously I used to edit my videos all the time. But yeah, man, great chat, no doubt. That's what I'm doing at the moment. Let me introduce myself. Pop, boom. Hey, thank you, Darren. You rock too, bro. But yeah, dude, you guys
want to highlight the porn bot there?
Oh man, I was thinking about it, but they can go fuck themselves.
Maybe they're trying to invite everybody along.
Hold on 1 second.
It's like, what's that song at the end of Lamb Chop? This is the show that never ends.
It just goes on and on, my friends.
Some people started singing and not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever
just because this is the song that never ends.
Jesus Christ, 3.5 hours.
Sorry, man. The dog is going nuts.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Y'all the best. I love y'all. Sorry about that.
Love y'all. Peace out.
Have a great night, man. See you next week.